Imagine waking up every morning to a world that feels like it's moving faster than you can keep up. Emails pile up, deadlines loom, and the noise of social media never seems to stop. You try to stay afloat, but the weight of it all leaves you feeling overwhelmed, disconnected, and unsure of how to find peace in the chaos. Sound familiar? This is the reality for so many of us in today's fast-paced, always-on world. But what if I told you there's a way to navigate this chaos with calm, clarity, and purpose? What if the key to a balanced life has been waiting for you for over 2,000 years? Stoicism, an ancient philosophy born in the bustling markets of Athens and the halls of Rome, offers timeless wisdom for modern challenges. It's not about suppressing emotions or ignoring the world around you. Instead, it's about understanding what you can control, letting go of what you can't, and finding strength in the present moment. Stoicism teaches us how to turn obstacles into opportunities, how to cultivate inner peace amidst external chaos, and how to live a life of virtue, resilience, and balance. In this video, we'll explore 50 powerful Stoic insights that can transform the way you approach life. From learning to focus on what truly matters to embracing discomfort as a path to growth, these principles are more than just ideas. They're practical tools you can use every day. Whether you're feeling stuck, stressed, or simply searching for a deeper sense of meaning, Stoicism has something to offer. So, if you're ready to step off the treadmill of modern life and discover a more balanced, fulfilling way of living, keep watching. By the end of this video, you'll walk away with actionable insights that can help you navigate life's challenges with grace and wisdom. Let's dive into the first of these 50 Stoic insights and begin the journey toward a more balanced life. Now, let's explore the first Stoic insight, one that serves as the foundation for everything that follows, focusing on what you can control. At the heart of Stoic philosophy is the idea that much of what happens in life is beyond our control: other people's actions, the weather, traffic, or even the outcome of our efforts. But what we can control is how we respond to these events. This simple yet profound distinction is the key to reducing stress and building resilience. Think about it this way: when you're stuck in traffic, you can't magically clear the road ahead, but you can choose how you react. You can let frustration take over, or you can use that time to listen to a podcast, reflect on your day, or simply breathe and accept the situation. By focusing on what's within your power, your thoughts, your actions, your attitude, you reclaim a sense of agency, even in the most chaotic moments. The Stoics called this the Dichotomy of Control, and it's a tool that can transform how you approach challenges. For example, imagine you're working on a project at work, and despite your best efforts, things don't go as planned. Instead of spiraling into worry or self-doubt, you can focus on what you can do, learn from the experience, adjust your approach, or seek feedback. This mindset not only reduces stress but also empowers you to move forward with clarity and purpose. By practicing this principle daily, you'll start to notice a shift in how you handle life's ups and downs. You'll spend less energy on things you can't change and more on what truly matters: your growth, your relationships, and your inner peace. This is the essence of Stoicism, not to control the world, but to master your response to it. As we move forward, keep this insight in mind. It's the first step toward a more balanced life, and it sets the stage for the next Stoic principle we'll explore: embracing the present moment. Now, let's turn our attention to the second Stoic insight: embracing the present moment. This principle is deeply rooted in Stoic philosophy, particularly in the writings of Marcus Aurelius, who often reminded himself to focus on the here and now. He wrote, "You could leave life right now. Let that determine what you do and say and think." This isn't meant to be morbid. It's a call to live fully in the present, because it's the only moment we truly have. The modern world is filled with distractions, endless notifications, to-do lists, and worries about the future or regrets about the past. But the Stoics teach us that the present moment is where life happens. It's where we can find peace, clarity, and purpose. When we're fully present, we're better able to appreciate the small joys of life, connect with others, and make thoughtful decisions. So how can we practice this in our daily lives? Start by grounding yourself in the here and now. One simple technique is to pause throughout the day and take a few deep breaths. Notice the sensations in your body, the sounds around you, and the thoughts passing through your mind. This isn't about emptying your mind or achieving some perfect state of calm. It's about being aware of what's happening right now without judgment. Another practical tip is to limit multitasking. When you're eating, just eat. When you're talking to someone, give them your full attention. By focusing on one thing at a time, you'll not only do it better but also find more satisfaction in the experience. Marcus Aurelius also suggested reflecting on the impermanence of life as a way to stay present. When you realize how fleeting each moment is, you're more likely to cherish it. Of course, staying present isn't always easy. Our minds naturally wander and distractions are everywhere, but the Stoics remind us that this is a practice, not a destination. Each time you catch yourself drifting into the past or future, gently bring your focus back to the present. Over time, this habit will help you build a deeper sense of mindfulness and appreciation for life as it unfolds. As we move forward, remember that embracing the present moment isn't just about reducing stress, it's about living a richer, more meaningful life. And with this insight in mind, we're ready to explore the next Stoic principle, practicing gratitude daily. Now, let's shift our focus to the third Stoic insight, practicing gratitude daily. Gratitude is more than just a feel-good emotion. It's a powerful tool for cultivating contentment and perspective, something the Stoics understood deeply. Epictetus, one of the great Stoic philosophers, once said, "He is a wise man who does not grieve for the things which he has not, but rejoices for those which he has." This simple yet profound idea reminds us that true happiness comes not from acquiring more but from appreciating what we already have. In a world that often pushes us to chase after the next big thing, gratitude helps us pause and recognize the abundance already present in our lives. It's not about ignoring challenges or pretending everything is perfect. Instead, it's about shifting our focus to the good, no matter how small, and finding joy in the ordinary. The Stoics believed that gratitude is a choice, a habit we can develop to reframe our mindset and build resilience. So, how can we make gratitude a daily practice? One effective method is to keep a gratitude journal. Each day, take a few minutes to write down 3 things you're grateful for. They don't have to be grand or life-changing. It could be as simple as a warm cup of coffee, a kind word from a friend, or the beauty of a sunset. The act of writing helps solidify these moments in your mind, training your brain to notice and appreciate the positives more often. Another way to practice gratitude is through reflection. At the end of each day, take a moment to mentally review what went well. Ask yourself, what am I thankful for today? This practice not only helps you end the day on a positive note, but also reinforces the habit of looking for the good in every situation. Gratitude can also be expressed outwardly. Take time to thank the people in your life, whether it's a family member, a colleague, or even a stranger who held the door open. Acknowledging others not only strengthens your relationships, but also deepens your own sense of connection and appreciation. The Stoics also encourage us to practice gratitude for challenges. While it might sound counterintuitive, difficult experiences often teach us valuable lessons and help us grow. By finding something to be grateful for even in tough times, we build resilience and a more balanced perspective on life. Remember, gratitude is a practice, not a one-time event. Some days it might come easily, while on others you'll need to make a conscious effort. But over time, this habit can transform how you see the world and how you experience life. As we move forward, let's carry this insight with us and explore the next Stoic principle, accepting impermanence. Now, let's turn our attention to the fourth Stoic insight, accepting impermanence. The Stoics had a profound understanding of life's fleeting nature, encapsulated in the Latin phrase memento mori, which translates to remember that you must die. While this might sound grim at first, it's actually a powerful reminder to live fully and intentionally. By acknowledging the temporary nature of everything, our possessions, relationships, and even our own lives, we can cultivate a deeper appreciation for the present moment and focus on what truly matters. Think about it: when we recognize that nothing lasts forever, we're less likely to take things for granted. That morning coffee, a conversation with a loved one, or even the quiet moments of solitude become more meaningful because we understand they won't always be there. The Stoics believed that this awareness of impermanence isn't meant to make us fearful or sad, but to inspire us to live with purpose and gratitude. Marcus Aurelius, the Roman emperor and Stoic philosopher, often reflected on this idea in his writings. He reminded himself that life is short and that every day is an opportunity to act with virtue and integrity. By embracing the transient nature of life, we're encouraged to let go of trivial worries and focus on what's truly important: our character, our relationships, and the impact we have on the world. So, how can we apply this insight in our daily lives? Start by taking a moment each day to reflect on the impermanence of life. This doesn't mean dwelling on mortality in a morbid way, but rather using it as a lens to prioritize your actions and decisions. Ask yourself, if today were my last day, would I be proud of how I spent it? This simple question can help you align your choices with your values and let go of distractions that don't serve your greater purpose. Another way to practice this Stoic principle is to let go of attachments to outcomes. Whether it's a project at work, a personal goal, or even a relationship, remind yourself that nothing is permanent. This mindset can help you approach challenges with resilience and grace, knowing that even difficult moments will pass. Finally, use the concept of impermanence to deepen your gratitude. When you're aware that everything is temporary, you're more likely to cherish the people and experiences in your life. Take time to express appreciation for the small joys and the people who make your life richer. Accepting impermanence isn't about resigning yourself to fate. It's about embracing the beauty of the present and living with intention. As we move forward, let's carry this insight with us and explore how cultivating inner virtue can further guide us toward a balanced and fulfilling life. Now, let's shift our focus to the fifth Stoic insight: cultivating inner virtue. The Stoics placed immense importance on developing virtues like wisdom, courage, justice, and temperance, seeing them as the cornerstone of a balanced and fulfilling life. These virtues weren't just abstract ideals, they were practical tools for navigating life's challenges and aligning our actions with what truly matters. Wisdom for the Stoics meant understanding the world as it is, not as we wish it to be. It's about seeing clearly, making thoughtful decisions, and learning from both successes and failures. Courage wasn't just about physical bravery, but also the strength to face emotional and moral challenges with resilience. Justice, in the Stoic sense, goes beyond laws. It's about treating others with fairness, kindness, and respect, recognizing our shared humanity. And temperance, that's the ability to exercise self-control, to resist excess, and to find balance in all aspects of life. These virtues aren't isolated traits, they work together to create a harmonious and purposeful life. When we cultivate wisdom, we make better choices. When we practice courage, we face difficulties without being overwhelmed. Justice reminds us to act with integrity, and temperance helps us avoid the pitfalls of overindulgence or impulsiveness. Together, they form a framework for living well, regardless of external circumstances. So, how can we bring these virtues into our daily lives? Start by reflecting on your actions and decisions. Ask yourself, am I acting with wisdom in this situation? Am I being fair to others? Am I showing courage in the face of challenges? These questions can guide you toward more virtuous behavior. Another way to cultivate inner virtue is to set small, intentional goals. For example, practice temperance by limiting distractions and focusing on what truly matters. Show courage by stepping out of your comfort zone, even in small ways, and strive for justice by treating everyone you encounter with kindness and respect, regardless of their role in your life. The Stoics believed that true happiness comes from living in alignment with these virtues. External achievements, wealth, or status may come and go, but the strength of your character remains. By focusing on inner virtue, you build a foundation that can withstand life's ups and downs, helping you stay grounded and purposeful. As we continue exploring these Stoic insights, remember that cultivating inner virtue isn't about perfection, it's about progress. Each day offers a new opportunity to grow, to act with integrity, and to move closer to the person you aspire to be. Let's carry this understanding forward as we delve into the next insight, where we'll explore how letting go of external validation can free us to live authentically. Now let's turn our attention to the sixth Stoic insight, letting go of external validation. The Stoics believed that true self-worth comes from within, not from the opinions or approval of others. In a world where social media and societal pressures often dictate how we measure our value, this principle is more relevant than ever. The Stoics taught that seeking validation from external sources is a recipe for dissatisfaction, as it places our happiness in the hands of things we cannot control. Think about it. How often do we find ourselves worrying about what others think of us? Whether it's the number of likes on a post, the praise from a boss, or the expectations of family and friends, these external markers can easily become traps. The Stoics remind us that our worth isn't determined by these fleeting measures. Instead, it's rooted in our character, our actions, and our ability to live in alignment with our values. So, how can we begin to detach from societal expectations and focus on internal validation? One powerful strategy is to practice self-reflection. Take time each day to ask yourself, am I living according to my own principles, or am I trying to meet someone else's standards? This simple question can help you realign your actions with what truly matters to you. Another approach is to limit your exposure to sources of external validation. For example, consider reducing the time you spend on social media or in environments where comparison and judgment are prevalent. Instead, invest that time in activities that nurture your inner growth, like reading, journaling, or spending time in nature. The Stoics also encourage us to embrace imperfection. When we stop striving for external approval, we free ourselves from the pressure to be perfect. Remember, you don't need everyone to like you or agree with your choices. What matters is that you're living authentically and staying true to your values. Finally, practice gratitude for who you are, not for what others think of you. Recognize your strengths, your progress, and the unique qualities that make you who you are. When you shift your focus inward, you'll find a deeper sense of confidence and peace that no amount of external validation can provide. As we move forward, keep in mind that letting go of external validation isn't about rejecting feedback or isolating yourself. It's about prioritizing your own judgment and values over the opinions of others. This shift can be liberating, allowing you to live with greater authenticity and purpose. Next, we'll explore how turning obstacles into opportunities can further strengthen your Stoic mindset. Now, let's shift our focus to the seventh Stoic insight, turning obstacles into opportunities. The Stoics had a unique way of viewing challenges. They saw them not as setbacks, but as chances to grow stronger and wiser. This mindset is beautifully captured in the teachings of Epictetus, one of the most influential Stoic philosophers. He famously said, "It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters." In other words, every obstacle is an opportunity to practice resilience, creativity, and inner strength. Imagine you're faced with a difficult situation at work or in your personal life. Instead of feeling defeated, the Stoic approach encourages you to ask, what can I learn from this? How can this challenge help me become better? This shift in perspective transforms the obstacle from something to fear into something to embrace. For example, Epictetus, who was born into slavery, used his hardships as a foundation for his philosophy. He didn't let his circumstances define him. Instead, he turned his struggles into lessons that continue to inspire people today. Another powerful example comes from Marcus Aurelius, who faced immense challenges as a Roman emperor. Despite the weight of his responsibilities and the constant threats to his empire, he viewed every difficulty as a chance to practice virtue. In his writings, he often reminded himself that obstacles are not barriers but stepping stones. He wrote, "The impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way." This idea, known as the Stoic turn, teaches us to reframe challenges as opportunities to act with courage and wisdom. So, how can you apply this Stoic principle in your own life? Start by reframing your mindset. When you encounter a problem, pause and ask yourself, what is this situation trying to teach me? Instead of focusing on the frustration or discomfort, focus on the potential for growth. For instance, if you're dealing with a difficult person, see it as a chance to practice patience and understanding. If you're facing a failure, view it as an opportunity to learn and improve. Another practical step is to practice gratitude for the obstacles themselves. This might sound counterintuitive, but the Stoics believed that challenges are gifts in disguise. They force us to dig deeper, to tap into our inner resources, and to discover strengths we didn't know we had. By embracing this mindset, you'll find that even the toughest situations can become sources of empowerment. As we wrap up this insight, remember that obstacles are not the end of the road, they're the beginning of a new path. By adopting the Stoic approach, you can transform every challenge into a stepping stone toward a stronger, wiser, and more resilient version of yourself. Next, we'll explore how the Stoic practice of negative visualization can help you build resilience and appreciation for what you already have. Now, let's move into the 8th Stoic insight, practicing negative visualization. This might sound a bit counterintuitive at first. Why would anyone want to imagine worst-case scenarios? But the Stoics believed that this exercise, known as premeditatio malorum, or the premeditation of evils, is a powerful tool for building resilience and cultivating gratitude. By envisioning what could go wrong, we prepare ourselves mentally for life's uncertainties and develop a deeper appreciation for what we already have. The idea is simple yet profound. Take a moment to imagine losing something you value, whether it's your job, your health, or even a cherished relationship. Picture the details of that loss, how it would feel, and how you might respond. At first, this might seem unsettling, but the Stoics argue that this practice helps us confront our fears and realize that we are more resilient than we think. It also reminds us that nothing in life is permanent, which can help us cherish the present moment more fully. Let's break this down into a step-by-step guide so you can start practicing negative visualization in your own life. First, choose something you value deeply. It could be your career, your relationships, or even your physical health. Next, take a few minutes to vividly imagine what it would be like to lose that thing. Picture the emotions, the challenges, and the adjustments you'd have to make. The key here is to engage your imagination fully, as if you're experiencing the loss in real time. Once you've gone through this mental exercise, shift your focus to gratitude. Reflect on the fact that you still have this thing in your life right now. Notice how much you appreciate it and let that gratitude sink in. This contrast between loss and presence is what makes negative visualization so powerful. It helps you see the value of what you have with fresh eyes. For example, imagine you're practicing this with your job. Picture losing it, the initial shock, the financial strain, the uncertainty about the future. Then bring yourself back to the present and recognize how fortunate you are to have that job today. This doesn't mean you ignore the challenges or frustrations of your work. It simply helps you balance those feelings with a deeper sense of appreciation. The Stoics also used this practice to prepare for adversity. By mentally rehearsing difficult situations, they were better equipped to handle them when they arose. Think of it as a form of mental training, just as athletes practice for a game. You're training your mind to stay calm and focused in the face of life's challenges. This doesn't mean you dwell on negativity. Rather, you use it as a tool to build strength and perspective. As we wrap up this insight, remember that negative visualization isn't about fostering fear or pessimism. It's about cultivating resilience, gratitude, and a deeper appreciation for the present moment. By practicing this Stoic exercise, you'll find yourself better prepared for life's uncertainties and more mindful of the blessings you already have. Next, we'll explore how the Stoic principle of living according to nature can guide us toward a simpler, more authentic life. Now, let's turn our attention to the 9th Stoic insight, living according to nature. This principle is central to Stoic philosophy and invites us to align our lives with the natural order of the world. At its core, living according to nature means embracing simplicity, authenticity, and harmony, both within ourselves and with the world around us. The Stoics believed that by doing so, we could achieve a sense of inner peace and fulfillment that external circumstances cannot disrupt. To understand this idea, let's start with what the Stoics meant by nature. For them, nature wasn't just the physical world. It also referred to the inherent qualities and purpose of all things, including human beings. They believed that every person has a unique role to play in the grand scheme of life, and living in accordance with nature means fulfilling that role with integrity and purpose. This involves recognizing our place in the world, accepting what we cannot change, and focusing on what we can control, our thoughts, actions, and choices. Living according to nature also calls for simplicity. The Stoics encouraged us to strip away the unnecessary distractions and desires that clutter our lives. Think about it. How often do we chase after things we don't truly need, only to feel more stressed and disconnected? By simplifying our lives, whether it's our possessions, our schedules, or even our relationships, we create space for what truly matters. This doesn't mean living in deprivation. Rather, it's about finding contentment in what is essential and meaningful. Authenticity is another key aspect of this principle. The Stoics believed that living authentically means being true to ourselves and our values, rather than conforming to societal expectations or seeking external validation. When we align our actions with our inner principles, we experience a sense of coherence and integrity that brings lasting satisfaction. For example, instead of chasing fame or wealth because others value them, we might focus on cultivating virtues like wisdom, courage, and kindness, qualities that resonate with our true nature. Harmony with the world is the final piece of this Stoic insight. The Stoics saw the universe as an interconnected whole where everything has its place and purpose. By living in harmony with this natural order, we learn to accept life's ups and downs with equanimity. This doesn't mean we become passive or indifferent. Rather, we approach challenges with a sense of calm and perspective, knowing that they are part of the larger flow of life. To put this principle into practice, start by reflecting on your own life. Are there areas where you feel out of alignment, perhaps chasing goals that don't truly resonate with you or clinging to habits that no longer serve you? Take small steps to simplify and realign. For instance, you might declutter your living space, set boundaries with your time, or spend more moments in nature to reconnect with its rhythms. The goal is to create a life that feels authentic, purposeful, and in tune with the natural world. As we explore this Stoic insight, remember that living according to nature isn't about perfection, it's about progress. It's a continuous journey of aligning your actions with your values, simplifying what complicates your life, and finding harmony in the ebb and flow of existence. By embracing this principle, you'll discover a deeper sense of peace and fulfillment that comes from living authentically and in sync with the world around you. Next, we'll delve into the 10th insight, which focuses on the importance of avoiding overindulgence and practicing moderation in all aspects of life. Now, let's shift our focus to the 10th Stoic insight, avoiding overindulgence. This principle emphasizes the importance of moderation and self-discipline in all areas of life. The Stoics believed that excess, whether in consumption, entertainment, or even emotions, leads to imbalance and dissatisfaction. By practicing restraint, we can cultivate a sense of inner harmony and long-term fulfillment. At the heart of this insight is the idea that overindulgence distracts us from what truly matters. When we give in to every desire or impulse, we risk losing sight of our values and priorities. The Stoics taught that true freedom comes not from having everything we want, but from mastering our desires and choosing wisely. This doesn't mean denying ourselves pleasure. Rather, it's about enjoying life's offerings in a way that aligns with our deeper goals. Let's start with consumption. In a world filled with endless options, it's easy to fall into the trap of overconsumption, whether it's food, material goods, or even information. The Stoics encouraged us to ask ourselves, do I truly need this, or am I simply chasing a fleeting sense of satisfaction? By practicing mindful consumption, we can avoid the clutter and stress that come with excess. For example, before making a purchase, take a moment to reflect on whether it adds real value to your life. This simple habit can help you make more intentional choices and reduce unnecessary waste. Entertainment is another area where moderation is key. While leisure and relaxation are important, overindulging in distractions like endless scrolling or binge-watching can leave us feeling drained and unfulfilled. The Stoics advised us to seek activities that nourish the mind and spirit rather than simply numbing them. Instead of spending hours on passive entertainment, consider engaging in hobbies that challenge you, spark creativity, or connect you with others. This shift can lead to a more balanced and enriching use of your time. Emotions, too, require moderation. The Stoics recognized that unchecked emotions, whether anger, fear, or even excessive joy, can cloud our judgment and disrupt our peace of mind. They taught us to observe our emotions without being ruled by them. For instance, when you feel anger rising, pause and ask yourself, is this reaction proportional to the situation? By practicing emotional self-discipline, you can respond to challenges with clarity and composure rather than being swept away by impulsive reactions. To incorporate this Stoic insight into your life, start by identifying areas where you tend to overindulge. Is it in spending, screen time, or emotional reactions? Once you've pinpointed these tendencies, set small, achievable goals to practice moderation. For example, you might limit your daily screen time, create a budget to curb unnecessary spending, or practice mindfulness to manage emotional responses. The key is to approach these changes with patience and self-compassion, recognizing that moderation is a skill that develops over time. By avoiding overindulgence, you'll find greater balance and clarity in your life. This Stoic principle reminds us that true contentment comes not from excess, but from aligning our actions with what is meaningful and sustainable. As we move forward, we'll explore the 11th insight, which focuses on the power of daily reflection and how it can deepen our self-awareness and growth. Now, let's turn our attention to the 11th Stoic insight, reflecting on your day. This practice, championed by the great Stoic philosopher Seneca, is a powerful tool for cultivating self-awareness and personal growth. Daily reflection allows us to pause, evaluate our actions, and learn from our experiences, ensuring that we live with intention and purpose. Seneca believed that the evening was the perfect time for this practice. As the day winds down, taking a few moments to look back on what transpired helps us identify what went well, what could have been handled differently, and how we can improve moving forward. This isn't about dwelling on mistakes or indulging in regret. Rather, it's about gaining clarity and making better choices in the future. To begin, set aside a quiet time each evening, perhaps just before bed, to reflect on your day. Start by asking yourself a few key questions. What did I do well today? Where did I fall short of my values or goals? How did I respond to challenges or setbacks? These questions encourage honest self-assessment and help you recognize patterns in your behavior. For example, if you notice that you often react impulsively to stress, this awareness can guide you to develop more thoughtful responses in the future. Journaling is an excellent way to structure this reflection. Keep a notebook or digital journal where you can jot down your thoughts each night. Write freely without judgment and focus on capturing the lessons you've learned. Over time, this practice will help you see progress in areas where you've been working to improve, as well as highlight recurring challenges that may need more attention. Another aspect of daily reflection is gratitude. Take a moment to acknowledge the good things that happened during the day, no matter how small. This could be a kind gesture from a friend, a moment of peace during a busy day, or even a lesson learned from a difficult situation. Gratitude shifts your focus to the positive, fostering a sense of contentment and resilience. Finally, use your reflections to set intentions for the next day. Based on what you've learned, what would you like to do differently or improve upon? Perhaps you want to practice more patience, be more present in conversations, or tackle a task you've been avoiding. By setting these small, actionable goals, you create a roadmap for continuous growth. Incorporating daily reflection into your routine may feel challenging at first, but even a few minutes each evening can make a significant difference. Over time, this practice will deepen your self-awareness, strengthen your alignment with Stoic principles, and help you live a more intentional and fulfilling life. As we move forward, we'll explore the 12th insight, which focuses on the importance of managing our reactions and how this shapes our overall happiness. Now, let's shift our focus to the 12th Stoic insight, being mindful of your reactions. The Stoics believe that while we can't always control what happens to us, we have complete control over how we respond. This simple yet profound idea is at the heart of Stoic philosophy. It reminds us that our happiness and peace of mind are not determined by external events, but by the way we choose to react to them. Imagine this: two people face the same challenging situation, a missed deadline at work. One person becomes overwhelmed with frustration, blaming themselves and others, while the other takes a deep breath, assesses the situation calmly, and focuses on finding a solution. The difference lies not in the event itself, but in their reactions. The Stoics teach us that by mastering our responses, we can maintain inner peace even in the face of adversity. So, how can we become more mindful of our reactions? One effective technique is the practice of pausing before responding. When something upsetting happens, take a moment to step back and observe your emotions without immediately acting on them. This pause allows you to respond thoughtfully rather than react impulsively. For example, if someone says something that irritates you, instead of snapping back, take a few deep breaths and ask yourself, is this worth my energy? How can I respond in a way that aligns with my values? Another powerful Stoic tool is reframing. This involves shifting your perspective on a situation to see it in a more constructive light. Let's say you're stuck in traffic and feeling frustrated. Instead of focusing on the inconvenience, you might reframe it as an opportunity to listen to a podcast you enjoy or simply take a moment to reflect on your day. By changing the way you view the situation, you can transform a negative experience into a neutral or even positive one. Journaling can also help you become more aware of your reactions. At the end of each day, write down moments when you felt strong emotions, whether anger, anxiety, or joy, and reflect on how you responded. Were your reactions aligned with Stoic principles, or did they pull you away from your values? Over time, this practice will help you identify patterns and develop greater emotional awareness. Finally, remember that managing your reactions is a skill that takes practice. It's not about suppressing emotions, but about understanding them and choosing how to act. The Stoics remind us that every challenge is an opportunity to practice virtue, whether it's patience, courage, or wisdom. By being mindful of your reactions, you can navigate life's ups and downs with greater resilience and grace. As we continue, we'll explore the 13th insight, which delves into the Stoic perspective on true wealth and why wisdom, not material possessions, is the key to a fulfilling life. Now, let's turn our attention to the 13th Stoic insight, seeking wisdom, not wealth. The Stoics believed that true wealth isn't measured by the size of your bank account or the possessions you accumulate, but by the depth of your wisdom and the strength of your character. This idea challenges the modern obsession with material success and invites us to reconsider what it means to live a truly rich life. Take the example of Seneca, one of the most prominent Stoic philosophers. Despite being one of the wealthiest men in Rome, Seneca often warned against the dangers of placing too much value on money and possessions. He argued that wealth could easily become a distraction, pulling us away from what truly matters: cultivating virtue and living in alignment with nature. Seneca himself practiced what he preached, using his wealth not for personal indulgence but to support others and contribute to the greater good. His life serves as a powerful reminder that material riches are fleeting, but the wealth of wisdom endures. Another inspiring figure is Epictetus, who was born into slavery and lived a life of simplicity. Despite his humble circumstances, Epictetus became one of the most influential Stoic teachers of his time. He taught that freedom and happiness come from within, not from external possessions. His famous quote, "Wealth consists not in having great possessions, but in having few wants," encapsulates the Stoic view that true abundance is found in contentment and self-sufficiency. Epictetus's life demonstrates that even in the absence of material wealth, one can lead a life of profound richness through wisdom and virtue. So, how can we apply this insight in our own lives? Start by reflecting on what you truly value. Are you chasing after things that bring temporary satisfaction? Or are you investing in experiences and practices that nurture your growth and well-being? The Stoics encourage us to prioritize learning, self-reflection, and the cultivation of virtues like courage, justice, and temperance. These are the treasures that no one can take away from you. Consider setting aside time each day to engage in activities that expand your mind and deepen your understanding of the world. This could be reading philosophy, engaging in meaningful conversations, or simply taking a moment to reflect on your actions and choices. By shifting your focus from accumulating things to accumulating wisdom, you'll find that your sense of fulfillment grows exponentially. The Stoic perspective on wealth also invites us to practice gratitude for what we already have. Instead of constantly striving for more, take a moment to appreciate the non-material riches in your life, your relationships, your health, and your ability to learn and grow. This shift in mindset can help you break free from the endless cycle of desire and find contentment in the present moment. As we move forward, we'll explore the 14th insight, which focuses on the importance of empathy and compassion in building meaningful connections with others. This principle reminds us that true wealth isn't just about personal growth, it's also about how we contribute to the well-being of those around us. Now, let's shift our focus to the 14th Stoic insight, practicing empathy and compassion. While Stoicism is often associated with self-discipline and inner strength, it also places a profound emphasis on our relationships with others. The Stoics believed that true wisdom includes the ability to understand and connect with those around us, even in challenging circumstances. This principle reminds us that our journey toward a balanced life isn't just about personal growth, it's also about how we contribute to the well-being of others. Take Marcus Aurelius, for example. As a Roman emperor, he faced countless pressures and conflicts, yet he consistently emphasized the importance of treating others with kindness and understanding. In his meditations, he wrote, "What injures the hive injures the bee." This simple yet powerful metaphor highlights the Stoic belief that we are all interconnected, and harming others ultimately harms ourselves. Marcus Aurelius's life serves as a testament to the idea that even in positions of power, empathy and compassion are essential virtues. But how can we apply this insight in our own lives, especially when faced with difficult people or situations? One practical approach is to practice what the Stoics called sympatheia, or the recognition of our shared humanity. When someone frustrates or angers you, take a moment to consider their perspective. What challenges might they be facing? What fears or insecurities could be driving their behavior? By stepping into their shoes, even briefly, you can respond with greater patience and understanding rather than reacting with frustration or judgment. Another way to cultivate empathy is through small, intentional acts of kindness. This doesn't require grand gestures. It could be as simple as listening attentively to a friend, offering a word of encouragement, or helping a colleague with a task. These actions not only benefit others but also reinforce our own sense of connection and purpose. As Epictetus taught, we have 2 ears and 1 mouth so that we can listen twice as much as we speak. This reminder to prioritize listening over speaking is a powerful tool for building empathy in our daily interactions. It's also worth noting that practicing compassion doesn't mean ignoring boundaries or tolerating harmful behavior. The Stoics understood that true kindness includes holding others accountable when necessary, but doing so with fairness and respect. For instance, if someone repeatedly crosses a boundary, addressing the issue calmly and assertively can be an act of compassion both for them and for yourself. It's about finding a balance between understanding others and maintaining your own well-being. Finally, consider how empathy and compassion can extend beyond your immediate circle. The Stoics believed in the concept of cosmopolitanism, the idea that we are all citizens of the same world. This perspective encourages us to care not just for those close to us but for humanity as a whole. Whether it's volunteering, supporting a cause you believe in, or simply being more mindful of how your actions impact others, these efforts can help you live in alignment with Stoic principles. As we move forward, we'll explore the 15th insight, which focuses on simplifying our lives. This principle invites us to declutter not just our physical spaces but also our minds, creating room for what truly matters. By embracing simplicity, we can find greater clarity and peace in our pursuit of a balanced life. Now, let's turn our attention to the 15th Stoic insight, simplifying your life. In a world filled with constant noise, distractions, and endless demands, the Stoics remind us that true peace and clarity come from embracing simplicity. This principle isn't just about decluttering your physical space, it's about creating room in your mind and heart for what truly matters. By letting go of excess, we can focus on the essentials and live with greater intention and purpose. The Stoics believed that simplicity is a form of freedom. When we strip away the unnecessary, we reduce the weight of external pressures and distractions, allowing us to focus on what's within our control. Seneca, one of the great Stoic philosophers, often wrote about the dangers of excess. He warned that the more we accumulate, whether it's possessions, commitments, or even desires, the more we burden ourselves. In one of his letters, he advised, "It is not the man who has too little, but the man who craves more that is poor." This timeless wisdom invites us to reflect on what we truly need versus what we merely want. So, how can we apply this insight in practical ways? Start by examining your physical environment. Look around your home or workspace and ask yourself, what items do I truly use or value? What's cluttering my space without adding meaning or function? Decluttering isn't about getting rid of everything, it's about keeping what serves you and letting go of what doesn't. This process can be incredibly liberating, creating a sense of order and calm in your surroundings. But simplicity goes beyond the physical. It also involves decluttering your mind. In today's fast-paced world, our thoughts can easily become overwhelmed with worries, to-do lists, and endless distractions. The Stoics practiced mindfulness long before it became a modern buzzword. They understood the importance of focusing on the present moment and letting go of mental clutter. One way to do this is through journaling. Take a few minutes each day to write down your thoughts, reflect on your priorities, and release any anxieties that are weighing on you. This simple practice can help you gain clarity and focus. Another way to simplify your life is by setting boundaries. Learn to say no to commitments that don't align with your values or goals. It's easy to fall into the trap of overcommitting, but every yes to something unimportant is a no to what truly matters. By being selective with your time and energy, you create space for the things that bring you joy and fulfillment. The Stoics also emphasized the importance of moderation in all areas of life. Whether it's food, entertainment, or even emotions, excess can lead to imbalance. Practicing moderation doesn't mean depriving yourself. It means finding a healthy middle ground where you can enjoy life without being controlled by your desires. For example, instead of mindlessly scrolling through social media, set aside specific times to engage with it. This small shift can help you reclaim your time and attention. Finally, remember that simplicity is a mindset. It's about valuing quality over quantity, presence over distraction, and inner peace over external validation. As you embrace this Stoic insight, you'll find that life becomes less about what you have and more about who you are. By simplifying, you create the space to live authentically and fully. As we move forward, we'll explore the 16th insight, which focuses on the importance of effort over outcomes. This principle teaches us to value the process rather than being fixated on results, a mindset that can transform how we approach challenges and goals. Now let's shift our focus to the 16th Stoic insight, the importance of focusing on effort, not outcomes. This principle is a cornerstone of Stoic philosophy, reminding us that while we can control our actions and intentions, we often have little influence over the results. By shifting our attention to what we can control, our effort, we free ourselves from the anxiety of chasing unpredictable outcomes and instead cultivate a mindset of perseverance and resilience. The Stoics believed that true fulfillment comes from doing our best regardless of the results. Epictetus, a prominent Stoic philosopher, famously said, "Some things are within our power while others are not." He encouraged his students to focus on their own efforts and let go of attachment to external outcomes. This mindset not only reduces stress but also empowers us to keep moving forward, even when things don't go as planned. Imagine you're working on a project at work or pursuing a personal goal. It's natural to want success, but the Stoics would remind us that the outcome is often influenced by factors beyond our control, market conditions, other people's decisions, or even luck. What we can control, however, is the effort we put in, the quality of our work, and the integrity of our intentions. By focusing on these, we shift from a results-driven mindset to a process-driven one, which is far more sustainable and fulfilling. This approach also helps us handle failure with grace. When we detach from outcomes, setbacks no longer feel like personal defeats. Instead, they become opportunities to learn and grow. For example, if you don't get the promotion you were hoping for, you can reflect on what you did well and where you can improve rather than dwelling on disappointment. This perspective fosters resilience, allowing you to bounce back stronger and more determined. Another benefit of focusing on effort is that it reduces anxiety. When we obsess over results, we often feel overwhelmed by the pressure to succeed. But when we concentrate on doing our best in the present moment, we experience a sense of calm and purpose. This doesn't mean we stop caring about outcomes, it simply means we prioritize what's within our control. As Marcus Aurelius wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events." Realize this and you will find strength. So how can we apply this insight in our daily lives? Start by setting intentions rather than rigid goals. Instead of saying, "I need to lose 10 pounds, focus on the effort. I will eat mindfully and exercise regularly." This shift in focus keeps you grounded in the present and reduces the stress of unmet expectations. Similarly, in your relationships, focus on being kind and present rather than trying to control how others respond to you. Another practical step is to celebrate effort, not just results. Acknowledge the hard work you put into a task, even if the outcome isn't perfect. This builds confidence and reinforces the value of persistence. Over time, you'll find that this mindset not only reduces anxiety, but also deepens your sense of accomplishment and self-worth. As we move forward, we'll explore the 17th Stoic insight, which introduces the concept of embracing discomfort as a tool for growth. This practice challenges us to step out of our comfort zones and build resilience through voluntary hardship, a principle that aligns closely with the Stoic emphasis on effort and perseverance. Now let's turn our attention to the 17th Stoic insight, embracing discomfort as a tool for growth. This principle might sound counterintuitive at first. Why would anyone willingly choose discomfort? But for the Stoics, this practice was a powerful way to build resilience, gratitude, and inner strength. By stepping out of our comfort zones and facing small challenges, we train ourselves to handle life's inevitable hardships with greater ease and confidence. The Stoics believed that voluntary discomfort helps us appreciate what we have and prepares us for what we might lose. Seneca, one of the most influential Stoic philosophers, often practiced this by living simply, even though he was wealthy. He would occasionally sleep on a hard bed, eat plain food, or wear modest clothing. These acts weren't about punishing himself, they were about reminding himself that he could thrive without luxury. This mindset fosters gratitude for what we have and reduces our fear of losing it. So, how can we apply this insight in our modern lives? Start small. For example, try taking a cold shower instead of a warm one. It's uncomfortable, yes, but it teaches you to endure discomfort and builds mental toughness. Or consider fasting for a meal or a day. This not only strengthens your self-discipline, but also helps you appreciate the abundance of food we often take for granted. These small acts of voluntary discomfort remind us that we are capable of enduring more than we think. Another way to embrace discomfort is through physical challenges. Go for a run on a cold morning or take a longer, more difficult route during your daily walk. These experiences push you out of your comfort zone and build resilience. Over time, you'll find that what once felt unbearable becomes manageable, and this newfound strength spills over into other areas of your life. Voluntary discomfort also helps us confront our fears. If you're afraid of public speaking, volunteer to give a presentation. If you're uncomfortable with rejection, strike up a conversation with a stranger. These actions might feel daunting at first, but they teach us that discomfort is temporary and often leads to growth. As Epictetus said, difficulties are things that show what men are. By facing challenges head-on, we discover our true capabilities. This practice also cultivates gratitude. When we willingly experience discomfort, we gain a deeper appreciation for the comforts we often overlook. A warm bed, a hot meal, or a kind word from a friend becomes more meaningful when we've experienced their absence. This shift in perspective helps us focus on what truly matters and reduces our attachment to material comforts. Incorporating voluntary discomfort into your daily life doesn't mean you have to suffer constantly. It's about finding small, manageable ways to challenge yourself and build resilience. Over time, these practices will help you face life's bigger challenges with greater confidence and calm. As Marcus Aurelius wrote, "The impediment to action advances action." What stands in the way becomes the way. By embracing discomfort, we transform obstacles into opportunities for growth. As we move forward, we'll explore the 18th Stoic insight, which focuses on the importance of avoiding complaints and shifting our energy toward solutions. This principle builds on the resilience we've cultivated through embracing discomfort, showing us how to channel our efforts into constructive action. Now, let's shift our focus to the 18th Stoic insight, avoiding complaints. The Stoics believed that complaining is not only unproductive but also a drain on our mental and emotional energy. When we complain, we fixate on what's wrong, often amplifying our frustrations instead of addressing them. This habit keeps us stuck in a cycle of negativity, preventing us from finding solutions or moving forward. Marcus Aurelius, one of the most renowned Stoic philosophers, often reminded himself to focus on what he could control rather than lamenting what he couldn't. He wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this and you will find strength." This simple yet profound idea underscores the Stoic approach to complaints. Instead of wasting energy on what's beyond our control, we can redirect that energy toward constructive action. So, how can we apply this insight in our daily lives? Start by becoming aware of your complaints. Notice when you're tempted to vent about a situation or blame others for your circumstances. Ask yourself, is this complaint helping me solve the problem, or is it just adding to my frustration? Often, we complain out of habit without realizing how little it actually accomplishes. Once you've identified a complaint, shift your focus to solutions. For example, if you're frustrated with a coworker's behavior, instead of complaining to others, consider having a calm, honest conversation with that person. If you're unhappy with a situation at home, think about small, actionable steps you can take to improve it. The Stoics taught that every challenge is an opportunity to practice virtue, whether it's patience, courage, or wisdom. By focusing on solutions, we not only address the issue at hand but also strengthen our character. Another Stoic technique for avoiding complaints is to practice gratitude. When we focus on what's going well in our lives, we naturally shift our perspective away from what's lacking. This doesn't mean ignoring problems or pretending everything is perfect. Rather, it's about balancing our awareness of challenges with an appreciation for the good things we often take for granted. For instance, if you're stuck in traffic, instead of complaining about the delay, use that time to reflect on something you're grateful for, like your health or your family. This simple shift can transform a frustrating moment into an opportunity for mindfulness. It's also important to recognize that complaining often stems from unmet expectations. The Stoics advised us to let go of rigid expectations and accept life as it is. Epictetus famously said, "It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters." When we release the need for things to go a certain way, we reduce the likelihood of feeling disappointed or resentful. This doesn't mean we stop striving for improvement. It means we approach life with flexibility and resilience, ready to adapt to whatever comes our way. By avoiding complaints and focusing on solutions, we reclaim our energy and agency. We stop being passive victims of circumstance and start taking active steps to improve our lives. This mindset not only enhances our well-being but also inspires those around us. When we model a solution-oriented approach, we encourage others to do the same, creating a ripple effect of positivity and productivity. As we move forward, we'll explore the 19th Stoic insight, which emphasizes the importance of continuous learning and self-improvement. This principle builds on the resilience and proactive mindset we've cultivated, showing us how to embrace growth as a lifelong journey. Now, let's turn our attention to the 19th Stoic insight, the importance of being a lifelong learner. The Stoics believed that growth and self-improvement are not just goals but ongoing processes. They saw life as a classroom where every experience, whether joyful or challenging, offers an opportunity to learn and evolve. This mindset aligns perfectly with the Stoic principle of focusing on what we can control, as our willingness to learn and adapt is entirely within our power. Marcus Aurelius, in his Meditations, often reflected on the value of learning. He wrote, "The soul becomes dyed with the color of its thoughts." In other words, what we choose to focus on and learn shapes who we become. For the Stoics, learning wasn't just about acquiring knowledge. It was about cultivating wisdom, virtue, and a deeper understanding of ourselves and the world around us. This perspective encourages us to approach life with curiosity and humility, always open to new lessons. So, how can we embrace this Stoic insight in our daily lives? One practical way is to make learning a consistent habit. This doesn't mean you need to spend hours reading dense philosophy books, though that's certainly an option if it resonates with you. Instead, it's about finding small, manageable ways to incorporate learning into your routine. For example, you might dedicate 15 minutes each day to reading an article, listening to a podcast, or reflecting on a thought-provoking question. The key is to prioritize growth even in small doses. Another powerful habit is to seek out mentors or role models who inspire you. The Stoics often look to the wisdom of those who came before them, studying the lives and teachings of great thinkers like Socrates, Zeno, and Epictetus. Today, we have access to countless resources, books, online courses, and even social media platforms where we can learn from experts in various fields. By surrounding ourselves with sources of wisdom, we create an environment that nurtures our growth. It's also important to embrace challenges as opportunities to learn. The Stoics taught that obstacles are not setbacks but teachers in disguise. When faced with a difficult situation, ask yourself, what can I learn from this? How can this experience help me grow? This shift in perspective transforms adversity into a valuable lesson, reinforcing the Stoic belief that every challenge is an opportunity to practice virtue. Journaling is another Stoic practice that supports lifelong learning. By regularly reflecting on your experiences, thoughts, and emotions, you gain deeper insights into your own behavior and patterns. Seneca, one of the most influential Stoic philosophers, was a strong advocate of daily reflection. He believed that reviewing your day, what went well, what could have been done differently, helps you learn from your actions and make better choices in the future. Try setting aside a few minutes each evening to jot down your thoughts, focusing on what you've learned and how you can apply those lessons moving forward. Finally, cultivate a growth mindset by embracing curiosity and humility. The Stoics understood that true wisdom comes from recognizing how much we don't know. Approach life with a sense of wonder, asking questions and seeking answers without fear of being wrong. This openness not only enriches your understanding, but also keeps you adaptable and resilient in the face of change. By committing to lifelong learning, we honor the Stoic ideal of continuous self-improvement. This practice not only enhances our knowledge and skills, but also deepens our sense of purpose and fulfillment. As we move forward, we'll explore the 20th Stoic insight, which focuses on the virtue of humility and how it fosters genuine connections and personal growth. This principle builds on the foundation of learning, showing us how to approach life with grace and openness. Now, let's explore the 20th Stoic insight, the practice of humility. Humility in Stoic philosophy is not about diminishing oneself or seeking approval from others. Instead, it's about recognizing our limitations, embracing our imperfections, and approaching life with a sense of openness and grace. The Stoics believed that humility is a cornerstone of wisdom, as it allows us to learn from others, admit when we're wrong, and grow from our experiences. Marcus Aurelius often reflected on the importance of humility in his meditations. He wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this and you will find strength." This idea reminds us that true strength lies in acknowledging what we don't know and being willing to learn. Humility helps us let go of ego-driven desires, such as the need to always be right or to seek external validation. Instead, it encourages us to focus on what truly matters, cultivating virtue and building meaningful connections with others. So, how can we practice humility in our daily lives? One simple way is to listen more and speak less. In conversations, make a conscious effort to truly hear what others are saying without interrupting or rushing to share your own perspective. This not only shows respect for the other person, but also opens the door to learning something new. As Epictetus once said, "We have 2 ears and 1 mouth so that we can listen twice as much as we speak." Another powerful practice is to acknowledge your mistakes openly and take responsibility for them. When you're wrong, admit it without defensiveness or excuses. This act of humility not only builds trust in your relationships, but also sets an example for others to follow. It shows that you value growth and integrity over the need to appear perfect. Humility also involves celebrating the achievements of others without envy or comparison. When someone succeeds, take a moment to genuinely congratulate them and reflect on what you can learn from their journey. The Stoics taught that comparing ourselves to others is futile, as each person's path is unique. By focusing on our own progress and appreciating the strengths of others, we foster a sense of community and mutual respect. In moments of success, practice gratitude rather than pride. Recognize the role that others, whether mentors, friends, or even chance, played in your achievements. This mindset keeps you grounded and reminds you that no one succeeds entirely on their own. As Seneca wisely noted, no one is more unhappy than the person who never faces adversity. For such a person is not permitted to prove themselves. Humility allows us to see success as a shared journey rather than a solitary triumph. Finally, embrace the idea that you are always a work in progress. No matter how much you learn or achieve, there is always room to grow. Approach each day with curiosity and a willingness to improve, knowing that humility is not a destination but a continuous practice. By doing so, you align yourself with the Stoic ideal of living a virtuous and balanced life. As we move forward, we'll delve into the 21st Stoic insight, which focuses on managing anger and maintaining inner peace. This principle builds on the foundation of humility, showing us how to navigate challenging emotions with grace and resilience. Now, let's turn our attention to the 21st Stoic insight, letting go of anger. Anger, according to the Stoics, is one of the most destructive emotions we can experience. It clouds our judgment, disrupts our inner peace, and often leads to actions we later regret. The Stoics believed that anger is not a natural or inevitable response, but rather a choice, one that we can learn to control through practice and self-awareness. Marcus Aurelius, in his Meditations, often reflected on the futility of anger. He wrote, "How much more grievous are the consequences of anger than the causes of it." This simple yet profound statement reminds us that the harm caused by our anger often far outweighs the initial trigger. Anger doesn't solve problems, it amplifies them. By recognizing this, we can begin to see anger as an obstacle to our own well-being rather than a justified reaction. So, how can we manage anger in the heat of the moment? One effective Stoic strategy is to pause and reflect before reacting. When you feel anger rising, take a deep breath and ask yourself, will this matter in an hour, a day, or a year? Often, the answer is no. This moment of reflection helps you gain perspective and prevents you from acting impulsively. As Seneca advised, the best remedy for anger is delay. By giving yourself time to cool down, you allow reason to take the place of emotion. Another powerful technique is to practice empathy. Try to see the situation from the other person's perspective. Perhaps they acted out of ignorance, stress, or fear rather than malice. Understanding their motives can soften your anger and help you respond with compassion rather than hostility. Epictetus taught that we should not be disturbed by the actions of others, but instead focus on our own reactions. He said, "It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters." This shift in focus empowers you to take control of your emotions rather than being controlled by them. Stoicism also encourages us to examine the root causes of our anger. Often, anger stems from unmet expectations or a sense of injustice. By identifying these underlying triggers, we can address them more constructively. For example, if you're angry because someone didn't meet your expectations, ask yourself whether those expectations were realistic or fair. Adjusting your mindset can help you avoid unnecessary frustration in the future. Another practical tool is to visualize the consequences of anger. Imagine how your words or actions might escalate a situation or damage a relationship. This exercise, known as negative visualization, helps you see the potential fallout of your anger and motivates you to choose a calmer, more thoughtful response. As Marcus Aurelius reminded himself, you always own the option of having no opinion. There is never any need to get worked up or to trouble your soul about things you can't control. Finally, cultivate gratitude as a counterbalance to anger. When you feel anger building, take a moment to reflect on the things you're grateful for. This simple practice shifts your focus from what's going wrong to what's going right, helping you regain a sense of calm and perspective. Gratitude reminds us that life is full of blessings, even in the midst of challenges. By practicing these Stoic strategies, you can learn to let go of anger and maintain your inner peace, even in the most frustrating situations. As we move forward, we'll explore the 22nd Stoic insight, which focuses on valuing time as our most precious resource. This principle builds on the foundation of emotional control, showing us how to prioritize what truly matters in life. Now, let's shift our focus to the 22nd Stoic insight, valuing time above all. The Stoics believed that time is the most precious resource we have, far more valuable than money, possessions, or even status. Unlike material things, time is finite and irreplaceable. Once it's gone forever. This realization can be both sobering and empowering, urging us to make the most of every moment. Marcus Aurelius often reflected on the fleeting nature of time. He wrote, "You could leave life right now. Let that determine what you do and say and think." This reminder of our mortality isn't meant to instill fear but to inspire action. It encourages us to live intentionally, focusing on what truly matters rather than getting caught up in trivial distractions. So, how can we prioritize our time in a way that aligns with Stoic principles? The first step is to identify what truly matters to you. Take a moment to reflect on your values and long-term goals. What activities or relationships bring you the most fulfillment and meaning? Once you've clarified your priorities, you can begin to allocate your time accordingly. This might mean saying no to commitments that don't align with your values or setting boundaries to protect your time. Another key strategy is to minimize time wasters. In today's world, distractions are everywhere: social media, endless notifications, and the constant pull of entertainment. While these things aren't inherently bad, they can easily consume hours of our day if we're not mindful. The Stoics would advise us to approach these distractions with intentionality. Ask yourself, is this activity adding value to my life, or is it simply passing the time? By being honest with yourself, you can make better choices about how you spend your hours. Seneca, in his essay on the shortness of life, wrote, "It is not that we have a short time to live, but that we waste a lot of it." He argued that much of what we consider busyness is actually wasted time, activities that don't contribute to our growth or well-being. To combat this, he suggested regularly reviewing how we spend our days. Keep a journal or simply reflect at the end of each day. Did I use my time wisely? Did I invest it in things that align with my values? This practice helps you stay accountable and make adjustments as needed. Another Stoic technique is to break your time into meaningful chunks. Instead of letting the day slip away, set specific intentions for how you'll spend your time. For example, dedicate an hour to learning something new, another to connecting with loved ones, and another to pursuing a passion project. By structuring your time in this way, you ensure that each day contributes to your growth and fulfillment. It's also important to recognize that not all time spent in leisure is wasted. The Stoics valued rest and reflection as essential components of a balanced life. The key is to engage in leisure activities mindfully, choosing those that rejuvenate you rather than drain you. Whether it's reading, walking in nature, or simply sitting in quiet reflection, these moments of rest can help you recharge and return to your priorities with renewed focus. Finally, remember that time is a gift, not a guarantee. Each day is an opportunity to live in alignment with your values and make a positive impact on the world. As Epictetus said, make the best use of what is in your power and take the rest as it happens. By valuing your time and using it wisely, you honor the Stoic principle of living a purposeful and balanced life. As we move forward, we'll explore the 23rd Stoic insight, which delves into the idea of being content with enough. This principle builds on the foundation of valuing time, showing us how to find satisfaction in simplicity rather than chasing endless desires. Now, let's turn our attention to the 23rd Stoic insight, being content with enough. This principle invites us to examine our relationship with desire and satisfaction. The Stoics believed that true contentment doesn't come from accumulating more but from recognizing when we have enough. In a world that constantly pushes us to want more money, more possessions, more status, this idea can feel countercultural. Yet, it's a powerful antidote to the endless cycle of dissatisfaction that so many of us experience. Seneca, one of the most influential Stoic philosophers, often spoke about the dangers of excess. He wrote, "It is not the man who has too little, but the man who craves more that is poor." This statement challenges us to rethink what it means to be truly wealthy. Wealth, in the Stoic sense, isn't about having an abundance of material things, but about having enough to meet our needs and the wisdom to recognize when we've reached that point. So, how can we practice being content with enough in our daily lives? The first step is to shift our mindset from scarcity to sufficiency. Instead of focusing on what we lack, we can train ourselves to appreciate what we already have. This doesn't mean ignoring our needs or aspirations, but rather approaching them with a sense of balance. For example, instead of chasing the latest gadget or trend, ask yourself, do I truly need this, or am I simply following a societal expectation? By questioning our desires, we can begin to separate genuine needs from fleeting wants. Another key aspect of this Stoic insight is embracing simplicity. The Stoics valued a life free from unnecessary complexity, believing that clutter, whether physical, mental, or emotional, distracts us from what truly matters. Consider decluttering your physical space, simplifying your schedule, or letting go of relationships that drain your energy. When we remove the excess, we create room for what brings us joy and fulfillment. Epictetus offered practical advice on this topic, reminding us that wealth consists not in having great possessions, but in having few wants. This perspective encourages us to redefine success on our own terms. Instead of measuring our worth by external markers like income or possessions, we can focus on cultivating inner virtues like gratitude, humility, and self-discipline. These qualities, the Stoics argued, are the true sources of lasting contentment. One effective way to practice this principle is through regular reflection. Take time each day to acknowledge what you already have and express gratitude for it. This could be as simple as appreciating a warm meal, a supportive friend, or a moment of peace. Gratitude shifts our focus from what's missing to what's present, helping us find contentment in the here and now. It's also important to recognize that being content with enough doesn't mean settling for mediocrity or giving up on growth. The Stoics were advocates of self-improvement, but they believed it should come from a place of inner alignment rather than external pressure. For example, pursuing a new skill or goal can be fulfilling if it aligns with your values and contributes to your personal growth. The key is to approach these pursuits with intentionality, ensuring they enhance your life rather than create unnecessary stress or competition. Finally, remember that contentment is a practice, not a destination. It requires ongoing effort and mindfulness, especially in a world that constantly tempts us with more. As Marcus Aurelius wisely noted, very little is needed to make a happy life. It is all within yourself, in your way of thinking. By embracing the Stoic idea of sufficiency, we can free ourselves from the endless chase for more and find peace in the simplicity of enough. As we move forward, we'll explore the 24th Stoic insight, which focuses on the importance of self-discipline in creating a balanced and fulfilling life. This principle builds on the foundation of contentment, showing us how to cultivate the inner strength needed to live in alignment with our values. Now, let's shift our focus to the 24th Stoic insight, practicing self-discipline. This principle is central to Stoic philosophy. emphasizing that true freedom and fulfillment come not from indulging every desire but from mastering our impulses and actions. The Stoics believed that self-discipline is the key to living a life aligned with our values, free from the chaos of unchecked emotions and distractions. At its core, self-discipline is about making intentional choices rather than being driven by habit or external pressures. Epictetus, a prominent Stoic teacher, once said, "No man is free who is not master of himself." This idea challenges us to take responsibility for our thoughts, actions, and reactions, recognizing that self-control is the foundation of inner peace and personal growth. So, how can we cultivate self-discipline in our daily lives? One effective way is to start small. Choose one area where you'd like to exercise more control, whether it's managing your time, reducing screen use, or sticking to a healthier diet. By focusing on a single habit, you can build momentum and gradually expand your self-discipline to other areas of life. Another powerful tool is setting clear intentions. Before starting your day, take a moment to reflect on your priorities and how you want to show up. Ask yourself, what actions align with my values today? This simple practice helps you stay focused and resist distractions, ensuring that your energy is directed toward what truly matters. The Stoics also emphasize the importance of delayed gratification. In a world that often prioritizes instant rewards, practicing patience can feel like a radical act. For example, instead of scrolling through social media during a break, you might choose to read a few pages of a book or take a mindful walk. These small acts of self-control strengthen your ability to resist temptations and stay committed to your long-term goals. Another daily habit to strengthen self-discipline is regular reflection. At the end of each day, take a few minutes to review your actions and decisions. Did you stay true to your values? Where did you succeed, and where could you improve? This practice, inspired by Seneca's evening meditations, helps you learn from your experiences and reinforces your commitment to self-mastery. It's also important to create an environment that supports your goals. Remove temptations that might derail your progress, whether it's unhealthy snacks in the pantry or unnecessary notifications on your phone. By designing your surroundings to align with your intentions, you make it easier to stay disciplined and focused. Finally, remember that self-discipline is not about perfection but progress. There will be moments when you falter, and that's okay. The Stoics taught that setbacks are opportunities to learn and grow. As Marcus Aurelius wrote, "The impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way." Each challenge you face is a chance to strengthen your resolve and deepen your commitment to living a disciplined life. By practicing self-discipline, we gain the freedom to live authentically and the fulfillment that comes from aligning our actions with our values. As we move forward, we'll explore the 25th Stoic insight, which delves into the art of accepting criticism gracefully and using it as a tool for growth. This principle builds on the foundation of self-discipline, showing us how to navigate feedback with poise and purpose. Now, let's turn our attention to the 25th Stoic insight, accepting criticism gracefully. In a world where feedback can often feel personal or harsh, the Stoics offer a refreshing perspective. They teach us that criticism, when approached with the right mindset, can be a powerful tool for growth and self-improvement. Instead of viewing it as an attack, we can see it as an opportunity to learn and refine our character. The Stoics believed that our reactions to criticism reveal more about us than the criticism itself. Epictetus famously said, "If someone tells you that a certain person speaks ill of you, do not make excuses about what is said, but answer, 'He was ignorant of my other faults, else he would not have mentioned these alone.'" This statement reminds us that criticism often reflects the critic's perspective, not our inherent worth. By detaching our self-esteem from others' opinions, we can respond with calmness and clarity. So, how can we apply this Stoic wisdom in our daily lives? The first step is to pause before reacting. When faced with criticism, take a deep breath and give yourself a moment to process the feedback. This simple act of pausing helps you avoid impulsive, defensive responses and allows you to approach the situation with a level head. Next, consider the source and intent of the criticism. Is it coming from someone who genuinely wants to help you improve, or is it rooted in negativity? If the feedback is constructive, try to separate the message from the tone. Even if the delivery is harsh, there may be valuable insights hidden within. Focus on the substance of the criticism rather than how it was delivered. Another key Stoic practice is to reflect on the criticism objectively. Ask yourself, is there truth in what was said? How can I use this feedback to grow? This mindset shifts the focus from defending yourself to improving yourself. It's not about proving you're right, but about becoming better. As Marcus Aurelius wrote, the best revenge is to be unlike him who performed the injustice. By responding with humility and openness, you demonstrate strength and maturity. It's also helpful to practice gratitude for criticism, even when it's uncomfortable. The Stoics taught that challenges, including harsh feedback, are opportunities to strengthen our character. Instead of resenting the critic, thank them for pointing out areas where you can improve. This doesn't mean you have to agree with everything they say, but it does mean acknowledging that their perspective can help you grow. When responding to criticism, aim for clarity and kindness. If the feedback is valid, acknowledge it and share your plan for improvement. For example, you might say, "Thank you for pointing that out. I'll work on being more mindful in that area." If the criticism feels unfair or unfounded, respond calmly and assertively without escalating the situation. A simple, "I appreciate your perspective, but I see it differently," can diffuse tension and keep the conversation productive. Finally, remember that criticism is a natural part of life. No one is immune to it, not even the greatest Stoic philosophers. What matters is how we choose to handle it. By embracing criticism as a teacher rather than a threat, we can transform it into a stepping stone for personal growth and resilience. As we move forward, we'll explore the 26th Stoic insight, which focuses on the dangers of comparison and how to shift our focus toward personal progress. This principle builds on the foundation of accepting criticism, showing us how to stay true to ourselves in a world that often measures success by external standards. Now, let's shift our focus to the 26th Stoic insight, avoiding comparison. In a world where social media and societal pressures constantly push us to measure ourselves against others, the Stoics offer a timeless reminder that comparison is not only futile but also deeply harmful to our peace of mind. They teach us that true progress comes from looking inward, not outward, and that our worth is defined by our own journey, not by how we stack up against others. The Stoics believed that comparing ourselves to others is a distraction from what truly matters, our own growth and character. As Seneca wisely noted, we suffer more often in imagination than in reality. When we compare ourselves to others, we're often imagining their lives as better or easier than they truly are, which only fuels dissatisfaction and self-doubt. Instead of focusing on what others have or achieve, the Stoics encourage us to focus on our own path and the virtues we can cultivate along the way. So, how can we break free from the trap of comparison? The first step is to recognize that everyone's journey is unique. What works for one person may not work for another, and that's okay. Instead of measuring your progress against someone else's, focus on your own goals and values. Ask yourself, am I becoming the person I want to be? Am I living in alignment with my principles? These questions shift the focus from external validation to internal fulfillment. Another powerful Stoic practice is to limit exposure to triggers that fuel comparison. In today's digital age, this might mean taking breaks from social media or unfollowing accounts that make you feel inadequate. Remember, what people share online is often a curated highlight reel, not the full picture. By reducing the noise, you create space to focus on your own growth and appreciate your unique strengths. It's also helpful to practice gratitude for where you are in your journey. the Stoics taught that contentment comes from appreciating what we have, not from chasing what others possess. Take time each day to reflect on your progress, no matter how small. Celebrate your achievements and acknowledge the effort you've put in. This mindset fosters self-compassion and helps you stay grounded in your own path. When you catch yourself comparing, reframe the situation as an opportunity for self-reflection. Instead of feeling envious of someone else's success, ask yourself, what can I learn from them? How can I use their example to inspire my own growth? This approach transforms comparison from a source of frustration into a tool for self-improvement. Finally, remember that the Stoics valued inner virtue above all else. External achievements, while commendable, are fleeting. What truly matters is the kind of person you become. As Marcus Aurelius wrote, waste no more time arguing about what a good person should be one. By focusing on cultivating wisdom, courage, justice, and temperance, you align yourself with the Stoic ideal of a meaningful life. As we move forward, we'll explore the 27th Stoic insight, which delves into the virtue of patience and how it helps us navigate life's uncertainties. This principle builds on the foundation of avoiding comparison, showing us how to embrace our own pace and trust the process of growth. Now, let's turn our attention to the 27th Stoic insight, cultivating patience. In a world that often demands instant results and quick fixes, the Stoics remind us that patience is not just a virtue but a powerful tool for navigating life's uncertainties. Patience allows us to approach challenges with calmness and clarity, helping us make better decisions and maintain our inner peace even when things don't go as planned. The Stoics understood that life is full of unpredictability. Whether it's waiting for a goal to materialize, dealing with setbacks, or facing delays, patience helps us endure these moments without losing our composure. As Epictetus once said, "No great thing is created suddenly." This simple yet profound statement reminds us that meaningful progress takes time, and rushing the process often leads to frustration rather than fulfillment. So, how can we practice patience in our daily lives? One effective way is to shift our perspective on time. Instead of viewing delays or obstacles as setbacks, see them as opportunities to practice resilience and self-control. For example, if you're stuck in traffic, rather than letting frustration take over, use the time to reflect on your day or listen to something uplifting. This small shift in mindset transforms a potentially stressful situation into a moment of calm and reflection. Another Stoic practice is to focus on what you can control. Often, impatience arises from trying to force outcomes that are beyond our influence. By accepting that some things are outside our control, we free ourselves from unnecessary stress and can channel our energy into actions that truly matter. For instance, if you're waiting for a job offer, instead of obsessing over the outcome, focus on improving your skills or exploring other opportunities. This proactive approach not only builds patience but also empowers you to take charge of your circumstances. The Stoics also encourage us to embrace discomfort as a teacher. Patience isn't about avoiding challenges but about learning to endure them with grace. Consider a situation where you're working toward a long-term goal, like learning a new skill or building a business. There will be moments of doubt and slow progress, but these are precisely the times when patience becomes your greatest ally. Remind yourself that growth happens gradually, and each small step brings you closer to your objective. Practicing gratitude can also strengthen your patience. When you're feeling impatient, take a moment to reflect on what you already have and the progress you've made so far. This shift in focus helps you appreciate the journey rather than fixating on the destination. For example, if you're frustrated with a slow-growing project, remind yourself of the lessons you've learned along the way and the skills you've developed. This mindset fosters contentment and reduces the urge to rush. Finally, the Stoics teach us to view patience as an expression of inner strength. It's not about passively waiting, but about actively choosing to remain steady and composed in the face of uncertainty. As Marcus Aurelius wrote, the art of living is more like wrestling than dancing, because an artful life requires being prepared to meet and withstand sudden and unexpected attacks. By cultivating patience, we equip ourselves to handle life's challenges with resilience and wisdom. As we move forward, we'll explore the 28th Stoic insight, which focuses on the importance of being a good listener and how it deepens our connections with others. This principle builds on the foundation of patience, showing us how to engage with the world in a more thoughtful and meaningful way. Now, let's shift our focus to the 28th Stoic insight, the art of being a good listener. In a world filled with noise and distractions, the Stoics remind us that listening is not just about hearing words, but about truly understanding and connecting with others. It's a skill that fosters deeper relationships, enhances learning, and cultivates empathy qualities that are essential for a balanced and meaningful life. The Stoics believed that listening is a form of respect and humility. When we listen attentively, we acknowledge the value of another person's thoughts and experiences. As Epictetus taught, we have 2 ears and 1 mouth so that we can listen twice as much as we speak. This simple yet profound observation highlights the importance of prioritizing understanding over being understood. By listening more and speaking less, we open ourselves to new perspectives and wisdom that can enrich our lives. So, how can we become better listeners? One key technique is to practice presence. This means giving your full attention to the person speaking, free from distractions or the urge to interrupt. Put away your phone, make eye contact, and focus on their words and body language. This level of engagement not only shows respect but also allows you to grasp the deeper meaning behind what they're saying. Another Stoic approach is to listen with curiosity rather than judgment. Often, we listen with the intent to reply or to evaluate what's being said. Instead, try to approach conversations with an open mind, seeking to understand the other person's perspective without immediately forming an opinion. This mindset fosters genuine connection and reduces misunderstandings. For example, if someone shares a challenging experience, resist the urge to offer advice right away. Instead, ask thoughtful questions that encourage them to elaborate, showing that you value their story. The Stoics also emphasize the importance of patience in listening. Just as we discussed in the previous insight, patience allows us to give others the time and space they need to express themselves fully. Avoid rushing the conversation or finishing their sentences. By allowing pauses and moments of silence, you create an environment where meaningful dialogue can flourish. This practice not only strengthens your listening skills, but also helps the speaker feel heard and respected. Reflection is another powerful tool for becoming a better listener. After a conversation, take a moment to consider what you've learned and how it aligns with your own thoughts and values. This habit of reflection deepens your understanding and helps you retain valuable insights. For instance, if a colleague shares a new idea, reflect on how it might apply to your work or personal growth. This thoughtful approach transforms listening into a source of continuous learning. Finally, the Stoics encourage us to listen not just to others but also to ourselves. Inner listening or self-awareness is just as important as external listening. Pay attention to your thoughts, emotions, and reactions during conversations. Are you truly present, or is your mind wandering? Are you listening to understand, or are you waiting for your turn to speak? By tuning into your own inner dialogue, you can identify areas for improvement and become a more mindful and effective listener. As we move forward, we'll explore the 29th Stoic insight, which delves into the transformative power of forgiveness and how it can lead to greater inner peace and freedom. This principle builds on the foundation of listening, showing us how to engage with others and ourselves in a way that fosters harmony and growth. Now, let's turn our attention to the 29th Stoic insight, the practice of forgiveness. Forgiveness in the Stoic tradition is not just an act of kindness toward others, it's a powerful tool for achieving inner peace and freeing ourselves from the weight of resentment. The Stoics believed that holding on to anger or grudges only harms us, trapping us in a cycle of negativity that disrupts our tranquility. By choosing to forgive, we reclaim control over our emotions and create space for growth and harmony. The Stoic approach to forgiveness begins with understanding that people's actions are often a reflection of their own struggles, ignorance, or limitations. As Marcus Aurelius reminds us, when someone does you wrong, immediately consider what good or harm they thought would come of it. This perspective shifts our focus from blame to understanding, helping us see that others' mistakes are rarely personal attacks but rather the result of their own flawed judgments. By recognizing this, we can begin to let go of the hurt and choose compassion over anger. So, how can we practice forgiveness in a way that aligns with Stoic principles? The first step is to acknowledge the pain. It's natural to feel hurt when someone wrongs us, and the Stoics don't advocate suppressing these emotions. Instead, they encourage us to face them honestly. Take a moment to reflect on what happened and how it affected you. This self-awareness is crucial because it allows you to process your feelings rather than letting them fester. Next, consider the bigger picture. The Stoics often remind us of the impermanence of life and the smallness of our grievances in the grand scheme of things. Ask yourself, will this matter in a week, a month, or a year? By zooming out, you can gain perspective and reduce the emotional weight of the situation. This doesn't mean dismissing your feelings, but rather seeing them in context, which makes forgiveness feel more attainable. Another Stoic technique is to focus on what you can control. While you can't change the past or someone else's actions, you can control how you respond. Forgiveness is a choice, one that empowers you to break free from the hold of resentment. As Epictetus teaches, it's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters. By choosing to forgive, you take back your power and refuse to let someone else's actions dictate your emotional state. Practicing empathy is also key to forgiveness. Try to put yourself in the other person's shoes and understand their motivations or struggles. This doesn't mean excusing their behavior, but it helps you see them as human beings who, like all of us, are imperfect and capable of mistakes. This shift in perspective can soften your heart and make forgiveness feel less like a burden and more like a release. Finally, the Stoics encourage us to reflect on the benefits of forgiveness. Holding on to anger is like carrying a heavy stone. It weighs you down and prevents you from moving forward. When you forgive, you drop that stone and free yourself to live with greater peace and clarity. Forgiveness doesn't mean forgetting or condoning what happened. It means choosing to let go of the emotional baggage so you can focus on what truly matters. As we prepare to explore the 30th Stoic insight, we'll delve into the concept of embracing change and how it can lead to personal growth and resilience. This principle builds on the foundation of forgiveness, showing us how to navigate life's uncertainties with grace and adaptability. Now, let's shift our focus to the 30th Stoic insight, embracing change. Change is an inevitable part of life, and the Stoics viewed it not as something to fear but as an opportunity for growth and resilience. By accepting change as a natural and constant force, we can learn to navigate life's uncertainties with grace and adaptability. The Stoics believed that resisting change only leads to unnecessary suffering. Instead, they encouraged us to align ourselves with the flow of life, recognizing that everything, our circumstances, relationships, and even ourselves, is in a state of constant transformation. As Marcus Aurelius wrote, "The universe is change, our life is what our thoughts make it." This perspective reminds us that while we can't control external changes, we can control how we respond to them. One of the most powerful ways to embrace change is to cultivate a mindset of flexibility. Life rarely goes exactly as planned, and the Stoics teach us to approach these deviations with curiosity rather than frustration. When faced with unexpected challenges, ask yourself, what can I learn from this? How can I grow through this experience? By reframing change as an opportunity rather than a threat, you open yourself to new possibilities and strengthen your ability to adapt. Another Stoic practice for embracing change is to focus on the present moment. Often, our resistance to change stems from fear of the future or attachment to the past. The Stoics remind us that the only moment we truly have is the present. By grounding ourselves in the here and now, we can better handle transitions and remain steady in the face of uncertainty. This doesn't mean ignoring the future or forgetting the past, but rather not letting them dominate our thoughts and emotions. The Stoics also emphasize the importance of preparation. While we can't predict every change, we can build resilience by developing inner strength and a clear sense of purpose. Practices like daily reflection, mindfulness, and negative visualization help us prepare mentally and emotionally for life's ups and downs. When we've already imagined and accepted the possibility of change, we're less likely to be caught off guard when it happens. Finally, embracing change requires a willingness to let go. The Stoics teach us that clinging to what's familiar or comfortable can prevent us from growing. By releasing our attachment to specific outcomes or circumstances, we create space for new opportunities and experiences. This doesn't mean giving up on our goals, but rather being open to the many paths that can lead us to fulfillment. As we move forward, we'll explore the 31st Stoic insight, avoiding gossip. This principle builds on the foundation of embracing change, showing us how to focus our energy on what truly matters and cultivate meaningful connections with others. Now, let's turn our attention to the 31st Stoic insight, avoiding gossip. Gossip, though often seen as harmless or even entertaining, is something the Stoics viewed as a distraction from what truly matters. It not only wastes our time and energy, but also undermines trust and damages relationships. The Stoics believed that our words should reflect our values, and engaging in gossip pulls us away from living a virtuous and balanced life. At its core, gossip is about focusing on others' lives rather than our own. The Stoics remind us that we have little control over what others do or say, but we have complete control over our own actions and words. By indulging in gossip, we shift our attention away from self-improvement and toward judgment and negativity. As Epictetus wisely noted, if you wish to improve, be content to appear clueless or stupid in extraneous matters. In other words, let go of the need to comment on or critique others, and instead focus on your own growth. One practical way to avoid gossip is to redirect conversations toward more meaningful topics. When you find yourself in a situation where gossip arises, try steering the discussion toward shared interests, ideas, or goals. For example, instead of discussing someone's personal life, you might ask, "What's something you've been learning or working on lately?" This not only shifts the tone of the conversation, but also encourages deeper connections and more constructive dialogue. Another Stoic strategy is to practice empathy and compassion. Often, gossip stems from a lack of understanding or judgment toward others. By reminding yourself that everyone is dealing with their own struggles, you can cultivate a mindset of kindness and refrain from spreading harmful rumors. As Marcus Aurelius wrote, "When you wake up in the morning, tell yourself, the people I deal with today will be meddling, ungrateful, arrogant, dishonest, jealous, and surly. They are like this because they can't tell good from evil." This perspective helps us approach others with patience and understanding rather than judgment. The Stoics also emphasize the importance of silence. Sometimes the best response to gossip is simply not to engage. By choosing not to participate, you set a powerful example and protect your own peace of mind. Silence can be a form of strength, showing that you value integrity over idle chatter. As Seneca advised, be silent as to what you hear and be cautious as to what you believe. Finally, avoiding gossip requires self-awareness. Reflect on why you might be tempted to engage in it. Is it out of boredom, insecurity, or a desire to fit in? By understanding your motivations, you can address the root cause and make more intentional choices about how you communicate. The Stoics teach us that every word we speak is an opportunity to practice virtue, so let's use our words wisely. As we move forward, we'll explore the 30-second Stoic insight, being honest with yourself. This principle builds on the foundation of avoiding gossip, showing us how self-honesty is essential for personal growth and living a balanced life. Now, let's shift our focus to the 30-second Stoic insight, being honest with yourself. This principle is at the heart of Stoic philosophy, emphasizing the importance of self-awareness and truthfulness in our journey toward personal growth. The Stoics believed that self-honesty is the foundation of a balanced life, as it allows us to confront our weaknesses, acknowledge our strengths, and align our actions with our values. At its core, being honest with yourself means taking a clear-eyed look at your thoughts, behaviors, and motivations. It's about asking yourself tough questions and being willing to face the answers even when they're uncomfortable. As Seneca once wrote, the first step toward improvement is to recognize where you stand. Without this level of honesty, it's impossible to make meaningful progress or live in accordance with Stoic virtues like wisdom, courage, and temperance. One powerful way to cultivate self-honesty is through journaling. The Stoics, particularly Marcus Aurelius and Seneca, were avid practitioners of this habit, using it as a tool for self-reflection and self-improvement. Journaling provides a space to examine your day, evaluate your actions, and identify areas where you can grow. It's a practice that encourages you to hold yourself accountable and to continuously strive for betterment. To get started, here are a few journaling prompts inspired by Stoic teachings. First, ask yourself, what did I do well today and where did I fall short? This question helps you celebrate your successes while also recognizing areas for improvement. Next, consider, what fears or insecurities are holding me back? By naming these obstacles, you can begin to address them and move forward with greater confidence. Another prompt is, am I living in alignment with my values? This encourages you to reflect on whether your actions match your principles and to make adjustments if necessary. Another Stoic exercise is to imagine how someone you admire would view your choices. For example, what would Marcus Aurelius or Epictetus think of how I handled this situation? This perspective can help you see your actions more objectively and inspire you to act with greater integrity. Finally, ask yourself, what can I do tomorrow to be a better version of myself? This forward-looking question keeps you focused on growth and progress. Being honest with yourself also means accepting your imperfections without judgment. The Stoics understood that no one is perfect, and striving for virtue is a lifelong journey. As Epictetus reminded us, no great thing is created suddenly. By embracing your flaws and committing to continuous improvement, you can cultivate a sense of inner peace and resilience. This practice of self-honesty naturally leads us to the next Stoic insight, practicing generosity. By understanding ourselves more deeply, we can better connect with others and contribute to their well-being, creating a ripple effect of kindness and virtue in the world. Now, let's explore the 33rd Stoic insight, practicing generosity. This virtue holds a special place in Stoic philosophy, as it not only strengthens our connection to others but also enriches our own lives. The Stoics believed that generosity is a natural expression of our shared humanity, reminding us that we are all part of a larger community. By giving freely of our time, resources, and kindness, we cultivate a sense of purpose and fulfillment that goes beyond personal gain. Generosity, in the Stoic sense, isn't about grand gestures or material wealth. It's about the willingness to share what we have, whether it's our attention, compassion, or even a simple act of encouragement. As Seneca wisely noted, wherever there is a human being, there is an opportunity for kindness. This mindset shifts our focus from what we lack to what we can offer, creating a ripple effect of goodwill that benefits both the giver and the receiver. One practical way to practice generosity is by starting small. Look for everyday opportunities to extend kindness, whether it's holding the door for someone, offering a genuine compliment, or listening attentively when someone speaks. These seemingly minor acts can have a profound impact, fostering a sense of connection and positivity in your interactions. Another idea is to set aside a small portion of your resources, whether it's time, money, or energy, to help others. This could mean volunteering for a cause you care about, donating to a charity, or simply being present for a friend in need. The Stoics also emphasized the importance of giving without expecting anything in return. True generosity, they believed, comes from a place of sincerity and detachment. When we give freely, without attachment to outcomes or recognition, we free ourselves from the burden of expectation and experience the pure joy of giving. This aligns with the Stoic principle of focusing on what we can control, our intentions and actions, rather than how others respond. Another powerful way to incorporate generosity into your life is through gratitude. When we recognize and appreciate the abundance in our own lives, we're more likely to share it with others. Take a moment each day to reflect on what you're grateful for and consider how you can pass that sense of abundance forward. This could be as simple as writing a thank you note, sharing a meal, or offering your skills to someone who could benefit from them. Practicing generosity also strengthens our sense of empathy and compassion. By putting ourselves in others' shoes, we gain a deeper understanding of their struggles and joys, which in turn fosters a more compassionate worldview. This aligns with the Stoic belief that we are all interconnected, and that our actions have the power to uplift not only ourselves but also those around us. As we embrace the virtue of generosity, we naturally move toward the next Stoic insight: avoiding procrastination. By giving freely and acting with intention, we build momentum and clarity, setting the stage for a more purposeful and balanced life. Now, let's turn our attention to the 34th Stoic insight: avoiding procrastination. The Stoics saw procrastination as one of the greatest thieves of time, a habit that robs us of the opportunity to live fully and intentionally. Time, as the Stoics often reminded us, is our most precious resource. Once it's gone, it cannot be reclaimed. Procrastination, then, isn't just a minor inconvenience, it's a barrier to living a meaningful and balanced life. At its core, procrastination often stems from fear of failure, fear of discomfort, or even fear of success. The Stoics, however, taught us to confront these fears head-on by focusing on what we can control, our actions in the present moment. As Epictetus famously said, "It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters." By shifting our mindset from avoidance to action, we can break free from the cycle of procrastination and reclaim our time. One effective Stoic strategy for overcoming procrastination is to break tasks into smaller, manageable steps. When a task feels overwhelming, it's easy to put it off. But by dividing it into smaller pieces, we make it less intimidating and more achievable. For example, if you've been putting off a big project, start by dedicating just 10 minutes to it. Often, taking that first small step creates momentum, making it easier to continue. Another powerful tool is the practice of premeditatio malorum, or negative visualization. By imagining the consequences of not taking action, whether it's missed opportunities, regret, or unmet goals, we can motivate ourselves to act. This isn't about dwelling on the negative, but using it as a catalyst for positive change. When we visualize the cost of procrastination, we're more likely to prioritize what truly matters. The Stoics also emphasized the importance of setting clear intentions and aligning our actions with our values. Ask yourself, what is the purpose behind this task? How does it contribute to my growth or the well-being of others? When we connect our actions to a deeper sense of meaning, we're less likely to delay them. This approach transforms procrastination into purposeful action, helping us stay focused and motivated. Another practical tip is to create accountability. Share your goals with a friend, mentor, or community that can support and encourage you. The Stoics believed in the power of community and the role it plays in helping us stay true to our commitments. Knowing that someone else is aware of your goals can provide the extra push you need to follow through. Finally, remember that progress, not perfection, is the goal. The Stoics understood that life is full of challenges and setbacks, but what matters is our willingness to keep moving forward. Even if you stumble or fall behind, the key is to pick yourself up and continue. As Marcus Aurelius wrote, "The impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way." Every obstacle, including procrastination, is an opportunity to practice resilience and discipline. By embracing these Stoic strategies, we can overcome procrastination and take meaningful action in our lives. This shift not only helps us achieve our goals, but also aligns us with the Stoic ideal of living in harmony with our values and purpose. And as we move forward, we'll explore the next insight, being resilient in adversity, where we'll learn how to turn challenges into opportunities for growth. Now, let's shift our focus to the 35th Stoic insight, being resilient in adversity. The Stoics believed that adversity is not something to be feared or avoided, but rather a test of character and an opportunity for growth. Life, as they saw it, is filled with challenges, and how we respond to those challenges defines who we are. Resilience, then, is not just about enduring hardship, but about finding strength and wisdom in the face of difficulty. One of the most powerful examples of Stoic resilience comes from the life of Epictetus. Born into slavery, Epictetus faced immense suffering and hardship from an early age. Yet, instead of allowing his circumstances to define him, he used them as a foundation for developing inner strength and wisdom. He taught that while we cannot control what happens to us, we can always control how we respond. His teachings remind us that resilience is not about avoiding pain, but about transforming it into a source of power. Marcus Aurelius, too, demonstrated remarkable resilience during his reign as Roman emperor. Faced with wars, political turmoil, and personal loss, he consistently turned to Stoic philosophy to guide his actions. In his meditations, he wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this and you will find strength." This mindset allowed him to lead with clarity and compassion, even in the most trying times. His example shows us that resilience is not just about surviving adversity, but thriving in spite of it. Another inspiring figure is Seneca, who faced exile and later a death sentence under the rule of Nero. Despite these extreme challenges, Seneca remained steadfast in his commitment to Stoic principles. He wrote extensively about the importance of maintaining inner peace and perspective, even when external circumstances are beyond our control. His letters and essays continue to inspire us to face adversity with courage and grace. So, how can we cultivate resilience in our own lives? The Stoics offer several practical strategies. First, they encourage us to reframe adversity as an opportunity for growth. Instead of seeing challenges as obstacles, we can view them as chances to develop patience, strength, and wisdom. This shift in perspective can transform how we approach difficult situations. Second, the Stoics emphasize the importance of focusing on what we can control. When faced with adversity, it's easy to feel overwhelmed by what's outside our influence. But by directing our energy toward our thoughts, actions, and attitudes, we can maintain a sense of agency and purpose. This focus helps us navigate even the most challenging circumstances with clarity and determination. Finally, the Stoics remind us to practice gratitude even in difficult times. By appreciating what we still have, our health, relationships, or even small moments of joy, we can find strength and perspective. Gratitude doesn't erase hardship, but it helps us see the bigger picture and reminds us that adversity is just one part of life's journey. As we reflect on these Stoic teachings, we're reminded that resilience is not about avoiding adversity, but about embracing it as a teacher. Every challenge we face is an opportunity to grow stronger, wiser, and more compassionate. And with this mindset, we can move forward to explore the next insight, practicing mindful consumption, where we'll learn how to make intentional choices that align with our values and well-being. Now, let's turn our attention to the 36th Stoic insight, practicing mindful consumption. In a world overflowing with endless streams of information, food, and media, the Stoics remind us to approach consumption with intention and awareness. Mindful consumption is about making deliberate choices that align with our values and well-being, rather than being swept away by impulses or external pressures. The Stoics believe that what we consume, whether it's food, information, or entertainment, shapes our minds and character. Just as we are careful about what we put into our bodies, we should also be mindful of what we feed our minds. Seneca, for instance, warned against the dangers of overindulgence in entertainment and distractions, urging us to seek quality over quantity in all aspects of life. He wrote, "It is not the man who has too little, but the man who craves more that is poor." This idea challenges us to reflect on whether our consumption habits are enriching our lives or simply filling a void. So, how can we practice mindful consumption in our daily lives? One key strategy is to pause before making choices. Before reaching for that snack, scrolling through social media, or binge watching a show, take a moment to ask yourself, is this truly serving me? Is it adding value to my life, or is it just a habit? This simple pause can help us break free from autopilot and make more intentional decisions. Another Stoic practice is to set clear boundaries. For example, limit the time you spend consuming news or social media, especially if it leaves you feeling anxious or drained. Instead, allocate time for activities that nourish your mind and spirit, such as reading, journaling, or engaging in meaningful conversations. By creating these boundaries, we protect our mental space and ensure that our consumption aligns with our priorities. The Stoics also encourage us to focus on quality over quantity. When it comes to food, choose nourishing, wholesome options that support your health. When consuming media, seek out content that inspires, educates, or uplifts you, rather than mindlessly consuming whatever is readily available. This approach not only enhances our well-being, but also fosters a deeper appreciation for what we consume. Finally, the Stoics remind us to cultivate gratitude for what we have. Instead of constantly seeking more information, more entertainment, more possessions, take time to savor and appreciate what's already in your life. This shift in mindset can help reduce the urge to overconsume and create a sense of contentment with less. As we embrace the practice of mindful consumption, we begin to see how our choices shape our lives. By consuming with intention, we not only improve our own well-being but also contribute to a more balanced and meaningful existence. And with this insight in mind, we're ready to explore the next Stoic principle, being a role model, where we'll discover how our actions can inspire and influence those around us. Now, let's shift our focus to the 37th Stoic insight, being a role model. The Stoics believe that our actions speak louder than words, and that the way we live our lives has a profound impact on those around us. Leading by example isn't just about doing the right thing. It's about embodying the virtues of wisdom, courage, justice, and temperance in everything we do. When we live according to these principles, we not only improve ourselves but also inspire others to do the same. Think about it this way: every action we take, no matter how small, sends a message. Whether it's how we handle stress, treat others, or approach challenges, people are watching and learning from us. Marcus Aurelius, one of the most famous Stoic philosophers, understood this deeply. As a Roman emperor, he knew that his behavior set the tone for his entire empire. He wrote, "Waste no more time arguing about what a good man should be. Be one." This powerful statement reminds us that the best way to influence others is to focus on our own character and actions. So, how can we embody Stoic principles and become role models in our daily lives? Start by practicing self-awareness. Take a moment each day to reflect on your actions and ask yourself, am I living in alignment with my values? Am I setting a positive example for those around me? This simple habit can help you stay grounded and intentional in your behavior. Another way to lead by example is to demonstrate resilience in the face of adversity. When challenges arise, show others how to respond with calmness and determination. Instead of complaining or giving up, focus on finding solutions and maintaining a positive attitude. This not only strengthens your own character, but also encourages others to adopt a similar mindset. The Stoics also emphasize the importance of kindness and fairness in our interactions. Treat everyone with respect, regardless of their status or background. By showing empathy and compassion, you create a ripple effect of goodwill that can inspire others to do the same. Remember, even small acts of kindness can have a big impact. Finally, practice humility. A true role model doesn't seek recognition or praise. They simply do what's right because it's the right thing to do. Acknowledge your mistakes, learn from them, and strive to improve. This willingness to grow and evolve sets a powerful example for others to follow. As we strive to be role models, we not only elevate ourselves but also contribute to a better world. By living with integrity and embodying Stoic principles, we inspire those around us to do the same. And with this insight in mind, we're ready to explore the next Stoic practice, avoiding overthinking, where we'll discover how to quiet the mind and focus on what truly matters. Now, let's turn our attention to the 38th Stoic insight, avoiding overthinking. The Stoics understood that overthinking can trap us in a cycle of worry and stress, pulling us away from the present moment and clouding our judgment. Instead of getting lost in endless mental loops, they encouraged us to focus on what's within our control and let go of what isn't. This mindset not only reduces anxiety, but also helps us approach life with clarity and purpose. Overthinking often stems from our desire to predict or control outcomes, but the Stoics remind us that much of life is unpredictable. As Epictetus wisely said, it's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters. When we spend too much time analyzing every possible scenario, we waste energy on things that may never happen. The key is to shift our focus from hypothetical worries to the reality of the present moment. So, how can we quiet the mind and break free from overthinking? One effective technique is to practice mindfulness. Take a few moments each day to simply observe your thoughts without judgment. Notice when your mind starts to wander into unnecessary speculation and gently guide it back to the present. This simple act of awareness can help you regain control over your mental energy. Another Stoic strategy is to set clear boundaries for decision-making. When faced with a choice, gather the necessary information, weigh your options, and then make a decision. Once you've made your choice, trust it and move forward. Overthinking often arises from second-guessing ourselves, but the Stoics teach us that once we've done our best, there's no need to dwell on what-ifs. Physical activity can also be a powerful tool for quieting the mind. Whether it's a walk in nature, a workout, or even a few minutes of stretching, movement helps release pent-up energy and brings us back to the present. The Stoics valued the connection between the mind and body, recognizing that a healthy body supports a calm and focused mind. Lastly, remind yourself of the Stoic principle of impermanence. Many of the things we overthink won't matter in the long run. By accepting that life is ever-changing, we can let go of the need to control every detail and instead focus on what truly matters. This shift in perspective can free us from the burden of overthinking and allow us to live more fully in the present. By practicing these techniques, we can cultivate a quieter, more focused mind, aligning ourselves with the Stoic ideal of inner peace. And with this insight in mind, we're ready to explore the next Stoic practice, detachment, where we'll learn how to free ourselves from the grip of external circumstances and find lasting tranquility. Now, let's explore the 39th Stoic insight, practicing detachment. The Stoics believed that much of our suffering comes from being overly attached to outcomes, possessions, or external circumstances. When we tie our happiness to things outside our control, we set ourselves up for disappointment and frustration. Instead, Stoicism teaches us to focus on our own actions, intentions, and inner virtues, which are always within our power to shape. Detachment doesn't mean indifference or apathy. It's about recognizing that while we can influence certain aspects of life, we cannot control everything. By letting go of our attachment to specific results, we free ourselves from unnecessary stress and open the door to greater peace of mind. As Marcus Aurelius wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events." Realize this and you will find strength. One way to practice detachment is to shift your focus from outcomes to effort. Instead of worrying about whether you'll succeed or fail, concentrate on doing your best in the present moment. This mindset allows you to take action without being paralyzed by fear of the unknown. It also helps you appreciate the journey rather than fixating on the destination. Another powerful Stoic exercise is to remind yourself of the impermanence of all things. Whether it's a promotion, a relationship, or even life itself, everything is temporary. By accepting this truth, you can enjoy the good moments without clinging to them and face challenges without being overwhelmed. This perspective fosters resilience and helps you navigate life's ups and downs with grace. Detachment also involves letting go of external validation. When you stop seeking approval or recognition from others, you reclaim your sense of self-worth. The Stoics believed that true fulfillment comes from living in alignment with your values, not from the opinions of others. By focusing on your inner compass, you can live authentically and find lasting contentment. Finally, detachment encourages gratitude for what you have, rather than longing for what you lack. When you stop comparing yourself to others or chasing after unattainable ideals, you can fully appreciate the present moment. This shift in mindset not only reduces stress but also deepens your sense of fulfillment. By practicing detachment, you cultivate a sense of inner freedom and tranquility, no matter what life throws your way. This Stoic insight reminds us that true peace comes from within, not from external circumstances. And with this understanding, we're ready to move forward to the next insight, being grateful for challenges, where we'll explore how even difficulties can become opportunities for growth. Now, let's turn our attention to the 40th Stoic insight, being grateful for challenges. The Stoics had a unique perspective on adversity. They saw it not as something to avoid, but as an essential part of life that helps us grow stronger and wiser. Challenges, they believed, are not obstacles to happiness but opportunities to practice resilience, patience, and courage. By reframing difficulties as blessings, we can transform our relationship with hardship and find meaning even in the toughest moments. Consider the Stoic philosopher Epictetus, who was born into slavery and faced immense suffering throughout his life. Yet he famously said, "It's not what happens to you but how you react to it that matters." Epictetus didn't see his circumstances as a curse. Instead, he used them as a training ground for developing inner strength and wisdom. His teachings remind us that challenges are not the problem, it's our attitude toward them that determines their impact on our lives. One way to practice gratitude for challenges is to view them as lessons. Every difficulty carries with it an opportunity to learn something new about yourself or the world. For example, a setback at work might teach you patience and perseverance, while a personal conflict could help you develop better communication skills. By asking yourself, "What can I learn from this?" you shift your focus from frustration to growth. Another powerful Stoic exercise is to imagine how much worse things could be. This isn't about minimizing your struggles, but about gaining perspective. When you compare your situation to something more severe, you often realize that your challenges are manageable and sometimes even beneficial. For instance, a difficult project at work might feel overwhelming, but it's also an opportunity to prove your capabilities and build confidence. Stoicism also encourages us to see challenges as a test of character. Just as a muscle grows stronger through resistance, our virtues are strengthened through adversity. When you face a tough situation, remind yourself that it's an opportunity to practice courage, patience, or humility. This mindset not only helps you endure hardship, but also allows you to emerge from it with a deeper sense of self-respect. Finally, gratitude for challenges helps us appreciate the good times even more. Without difficulties, we might take our blessings for granted. By embracing challenges, we develop a greater capacity for joy and contentment. As Seneca wisely noted, difficulties strengthen the mind as labor does the body. By adopting this Stoic perspective, you can turn life's challenges into stepping stones for growth and fulfillment. And with this insight in mind, we're ready to explore the next principle, cultivating courage, where we'll discover how facing our fears can lead to a more empowered and balanced life. Now, let's shift our focus to the 41st Stoic insight, cultivating courage. Courage, in the Stoic sense, isn't just about facing physical danger or taking bold risks. It's about confronting our fears, uncertainties, and the unknown with a steady mind and a resilient heart. The Stoics believed that courage is one of the 4 cardinal virtues, alongside wisdom, justice, and temperance, and that it's essential for living a balanced and fulfilling life. Courage, as the Stoics saw it, is the ability to act in alignment with our values, even when it's uncomfortable or frightening. It's about standing firm in the face of adversity, not because we're fearless, but because we've chosen to prioritize what's right over what's easy. Marcus Aurelius, the philosopher king, often reminded himself that courage isn't the absence of fear, but the willingness to move forward despite it. He wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events." Realize this and you will find strength. So, how can we cultivate courage in our daily lives? One practical way is to start small. Courage is like a muscle, it grows stronger with practice. Begin by identifying areas where you feel hesitant or afraid, whether it's speaking up in a meeting, trying something new, or having a difficult conversation. Then take one small step toward facing that fear. Each time you do, you'll build confidence and resilience, making it easier to tackle bigger challenges down the road. Another Stoic technique is to reframe fear as an opportunity for growth. Instead of seeing fear as a barrier, view it as a signal that you're stepping outside your comfort zone, a place where growth happens. When you feel afraid, remind yourself that this moment is a chance to practice courage and strengthen your character. As Epictetus said, if you want to improve, be content to be thought foolish and stupid. Embracing discomfort, even in small ways, can help you develop the courage to face larger uncertainties. Stoicism also teaches us to focus on what's within our control. Fear often arises from worrying about outcomes we can't predict or influence. By shifting your attention to your own actions and intentions, you can reduce anxiety and act with greater confidence. For example, instead of worrying about whether a presentation will go perfectly, focus on preparing thoroughly and delivering it with sincerity. This mindset not only builds courage but also helps you stay grounded in the present moment. Finally, cultivate courage by surrounding yourself with reminders of your strength and resilience. Reflect on past challenges you've overcome and the lessons you've learned along the way. Keep a journal where you document moments when you acted courageously, no matter how small they may seem. Over time, these reflections will serve as a powerful reminder of your ability to face adversity with grace and determination. By embracing the Stoic virtue of courage, you can transform fear into a catalyst for growth and empowerment. And with this insight in mind, we're ready to explore the next principle, avoiding envy, where we'll uncover how focusing on our own progress can lead to greater contentment and balance. Now, let's turn our attention to the 42nd Stoic insight, avoiding envy. Envy, as the Stoics understood it, is a corrosive emotion that distracts us from our own path and undermines our sense of contentment. It's the act of comparing ourselves to others and feeling discontent because of what they have or achieve. The Stoics believed that envy not only wastes our energy, but also pulls us away from focusing on what truly matters, our own growth and inner peace. Seneca, one of the great Stoic philosophers, warned that envy is a form of self-torture. When we fixate on what others have, we neglect the gifts and opportunities that are uniquely ours. He wrote, "The greatest obstacle to living is expectancy, which hangs upon tomorrow and loses today." In other words, envy keeps us stuck in a cycle of longing for what we don't have, rather than appreciating and making the most of what we do. So, how can we avoid falling into the trap of envy? The first step is to recognize that comparison is often rooted in a skewed perspective. We tend to compare our behind-the-scenes struggles with someone else's highlight reel, which only fuels feelings of inadequacy. Instead of focusing on what others have, shift your attention inward. Ask yourself, what are my strengths? What progress have I made? What are my goals? And how can I take steps toward them today? Another powerful Stoic strategy is to practice gratitude. When we cultivate gratitude for what we already have, we naturally reduce the space for envy to take hold. Take a moment each day to reflect on the things you're thankful for, whether it's your health, relationships, or personal achievements. Gratitude reminds us that we already possess much of what we need to live a fulfilling life. Stoicism also encourages us to view others' success as inspiration rather than competition. Instead of feeling threatened by someone else's achievements, see them as proof that growth and success are possible. Celebrate their victories and let them motivate you to pursue your own goals with determination and focus. As Marcus Aurelius advised, the best revenge is to be unlike him who performed the injustice. In this case, the best response to envy is to rise above it and focus on becoming the best version of yourself. Finally, remember that envy often stems from a lack of clarity about our own values and priorities. Take time to define what truly matters to you. What kind of life do you want to lead? What virtues do you want to embody? When you align your actions with your core values, you'll find that the need to compare yourself to others diminishes. You'll be too busy living a life that feels authentic and meaningful to you. By avoiding envy and focusing on personal growth, you can cultivate a sense of inner peace and contentment that no external comparison can shake. And with this insight in mind, we're ready to explore the next principle, practicing silence, where we'll discover how moments of quiet reflection can lead to greater clarity and balance. Now, let's move into the 43rd Stoic insight, practicing silence. In a world filled with constant noise, whether it's the chatter of social media, the demands of work, or the endless stream of information, silence can feel like a rare and precious gift. The Stoics understood this deeply. They believed that moments of quiet reflection were essential for cultivating clarity, inner peace, and a deeper understanding of ourselves and the world around us. Marcus Aurelius, the philosopher king, often emphasized the importance of retreating into silence. He wrote, "Nowhere can man find a quieter or more untroubled retreat than in his own soul." For him, silence wasn't just the absence of sound. It was a deliberate practice of turning inward, away from distractions, to reconnect with one's thoughts and values. This practice allowed him to navigate the complexities of leadership and life with a calm and steady mind. But why is silence so powerful? First, it creates space for self-awareness. When we step away from external noise, we give ourselves the opportunity to listen to our own thoughts and emotions. This can help us identify patterns, recognize what truly matters, and make decisions that align with our values. Silence allows us to pause, reflect, and respond thoughtfully rather than react impulsively. Second, silence fosters clarity. In the stillness, we can untangle the mental clutter that often clouds our judgment. It's like clearing a foggy window. Suddenly, things become sharper and more focused. This clarity can lead to better problem-solving, creativity, and a sense of purpose. As Seneca once noted, sometimes even to live is an act of courage. Silence gives us the courage to face our challenges with a clear mind and a steady heart. So, how can we incorporate silence into our daily lives? Start small. Dedicate just 5 minutes each day to sit in quiet reflection. Find a comfortable spot, close your eyes, and focus on your breath. Let go of the need to fill the silence with thoughts or distractions. Simply be present. Over time, you can extend this practice, perhaps by taking a walk in nature without headphones or spending a few moments in stillness before bed. Another way to practice silence is through journaling. After a period of quiet reflection, write down your thoughts and insights. This not only helps you process your emotions, but also creates a record of your growth and self-discovery. As Epictetus advised, first say to yourself what you would be, and then do what you have to do. Silence and reflection can guide you toward that vision of yourself. Finally, remember that silence isn't just about being alone. It's also about creating moments of quiet in your interactions with others. Practice active listening, truly hearing what someone is saying without planning your response or interrupting. This kind of silence fosters deeper connections and understanding, both with others and with yourself. By embracing silence, you create a sanctuary within yourself, a place of calm and clarity that no external chaos can disturb. And as we prepare to explore the next insight, let's carry this understanding of silence with us, knowing that it is not just a pause but a powerful tool for growth and balance. Now let's turn our attention to the 44th Stoic insight, being adaptable. Life is unpredictable, filled with twists and turns that can often catch us off guard. The Stoics recognized this reality and taught that adaptability is not just a skill but a mindset, one that allows us to flow with life's changes rather than resist them. By embracing flexibility, we can navigate challenges with grace and resilience, turning obstacles into opportunities for growth. Consider the words of Epictetus, who said, "It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters." This simple yet profound idea lies at the heart of adaptability. When we accept that change is inevitable, we free ourselves from the frustration of trying to control the uncontrollable. Instead, we focus on how we can respond in ways that align with our values and goals. This shift in perspective transforms adversity into a chance to learn, adapt, and thrive. So, how can we cultivate adaptability in our own lives? One way is to practice reframing challenges. When faced with an unexpected setback, ask yourself, what can I learn from this? Or how can I use this situation to grow? For example, losing a job might initially feel devastating, but it could also open the door to new opportunities or a career path you hadn't considered before. By viewing change as a teacher rather than a threat, you build the mental flexibility needed to navigate life's uncertainties. Another key to adaptability is letting go of rigid expectations. Often, we create detailed plans for how we think life should unfold, only to feel disappointed when reality doesn't match our vision. The Stoics remind us that while we can set goals and intentions, we must remain open to the possibility that things may not go as planned. This doesn't mean abandoning ambition. It means holding our plans lightly and being willing to adjust them as circumstances evolve. As Seneca wisely noted, fate leads the willing and drags the unwilling. By embracing adaptability, we become willing partners in the journey of life. Adaptability also involves cultivating a sense of curiosity and openness. Instead of fearing the unknown, approach it with a spirit of exploration. Ask questions, seek new perspectives, and be willing to step outside your comfort zone. For instance, if you're faced with a sudden relocation, rather than resisting the change, explore the new environment with an open mind. What unique experiences or connections might this place offer? By adopting this mindset, you transform uncertainty into an adventure. Finally, adaptability requires self-compassion. Change can be difficult, and it's okay to feel discomfort or frustration along the way. The Stoics didn't advocate for suppressing emotions, but rather for acknowledging them and then choosing how to respond. If you find yourself struggling with a new situation, remind yourself that it's part of the process. Be patient with yourself as you adapt and celebrate small victories along the way. By embracing adaptability, we equip ourselves to face life's changes with courage and resilience. It's not about avoiding challenges, but about meeting them with a flexible and open heart. And as we prepare to explore the next insight, let's carry this spirit of adaptability with us, knowing that it is a powerful tool for navigating the ever-changing landscape of life. Now, let's shift our focus to the 45th Stoic insight, avoiding excess emotions. The Stoics believed that while emotions are a natural part of being human, allowing them to spiral out of control can cloud our judgment and lead to poor decisions. Instead of being ruled by intense feelings, Stoicism teaches us to cultivate emotional balance, enabling us to respond to life's challenges with clarity and wisdom. Consider the Stoic concept of apatheia, which doesn't mean suppressing emotions entirely, but rather achieving a state of inner calm where emotions don't overpower reason. As Marcus Aurelius once wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." This idea reminds us that while we can't always control what happens to us, we can control how we interpret and respond to those events. By managing our emotions, we prevent them from dictating our actions. So, how can we maintain emotional balance in our daily lives? One effective technique is to pause and reflect before reacting. When you feel a surge of anger, frustration, or anxiety, take a moment to breathe deeply and ask yourself, is this emotion serving me? Often, stepping back allows you to see the situation more clearly and choose a response that aligns with your values rather than being driven by impulse. For example, if someone criticizes you, instead of reacting defensively, you might consider whether there's any truth to their words and how you can use the feedback to grow. Another powerful Stoic practice is to separate the event from your interpretation of it. The Stoics believed that it's not the event itself that causes distress, but our judgment about it. For instance, losing a promotion might initially feel like a failure, but reframing it as an opportunity to reassess your goals and strengths can shift your perspective. By focusing on what you can control, your thoughts and actions, you reduce the emotional weight of the situation. Practicing gratitude is also a valuable tool for maintaining emotional balance. When we focus on what we have rather than what we lack, we cultivate a sense of contentment that buffers against negative emotions. Take a few moments each day to reflect on the things you're grateful for, no matter how small. This simple habit can help you stay grounded and resilient, even in the face of adversity. Additionally, the Stoics emphasized the importance of self-awareness. Regularly check in with yourself to identify patterns in your emotional responses. Are there certain triggers that consistently upset you? By understanding these patterns, you can develop strategies to address them proactively. For example, if you notice that social media often stirs up envy or frustration, consider limiting your time on these platforms or curating your feed to include more positive content. Finally, remember that emotional balance doesn't mean eliminating emotions altogether. It's about acknowledging them without letting them take over. The Stoics encouraged us to observe our feelings as if we were an impartial observer, recognizing that emotions are temporary and don't define us. This detachment allows us to respond thoughtfully rather than react impulsively. By practicing these techniques, we can avoid the pitfalls of excess emotions and cultivate a sense of inner peace. As we prepare to explore the next insight, let's carry this understanding with us, knowing that emotional balance is not just a Stoic ideal, but a practical tool for navigating life's ups and downs with grace and resilience. Now, let's turn our attention to the 46th Stoic insight, practicing kindness. The Stoics believed that kindness is not a sign of weakness but a profound strength. It's a virtue that reflects inner resilience and a deep understanding of our shared humanity. In a world that often prioritizes competition and self-interest, Stoicism reminds us that acts of kindness can create meaningful connections and foster a sense of community. Kindness in the Stoic view is not about seeking recognition or expecting something in return. It's about acting with genuine care and compassion, even when it's not easy. As Seneca once said, "Wherever there is a human being, there is an opportunity for kindness." This simple yet powerful idea encourages us to see every interaction as a chance to uplift others and contribute to the greater good. So, how can we incorporate kindness into our daily lives? Start with small, intentional gestures. A smile, a kind word, or a thoughtful note can brighten someone's day. For example, if you notice a colleague struggling with a task, offer your assistance without being asked. These small acts not only help others but also reinforce your own sense of purpose and connection. Another way to practice kindness is through active listening. When someone shares their thoughts or concerns, give them your full attention. Avoid interrupting or rushing to offer advice. Sometimes people just need to feel heard and understood. By being present in these moments, you show respect and empathy, which are cornerstones of kindness. The Stoics also emphasize the importance of self-kindness. It's easy to be hard on ourselves when we make mistakes or fall short of our goals. Instead of dwelling on self-criticism, treat yourself with the same compassion you would extend to a friend. Acknowledge your efforts and remind yourself that growth is a process. This practice not only nurtures your well-being but also strengthens your capacity to be kind to others. Kindness can also extend to how we respond to difficult people or situations. The Stoics taught that everyone is doing the best they can with the knowledge and resources they have. When someone acts unkindly, try to understand their perspective rather than reacting with anger. This doesn't mean excusing harmful behavior, but it does mean approaching conflicts with patience and a desire to find common ground. Finally, consider making kindness a daily habit. Set a goal to perform at least one act of kindness each day, whether it's helping a stranger, volunteering your time, or simply expressing gratitude to someone who has made a difference in your life. Over time, these small actions can create a ripple effect, inspiring others to do the same. By practicing kindness, we not only enrich the lives of those around us, but also cultivate a sense of inner peace and fulfillment. As we move forward, let's carry this insight with us, remembering that kindness is a powerful tool for building stronger relationships and creating a more compassionate world. Now let's shift our focus to the 47th Stoic insight, being patient with yourself. In the pursuit of personal growth, it's easy to become your own harshest critic. The Stoics, however, remind us that self-compassion is not just a luxury, it's a necessity. It's about treating yourself with the same kindness and understanding you would offer a close friend, especially during moments of struggle or failure. The Stoic philosophy teaches that self-compassion is rooted in the recognition of our shared humanity. We all make mistakes, face setbacks, and experience moments of doubt. These are not signs of weakness but opportunities for learning and growth. As Marcus Aurelius once reflected, be tolerant with others and strict with yourself. Yet, even this strictness should be tempered with patience and understanding. After all, growth is a gradual process, not an overnight achievement. So, how can we cultivate patience with ourselves? Start by reframing how you view mistakes. Instead of seeing them as failures, consider them as stepping stones on your journey. When you stumble, take a moment to reflect on what you've learned rather than dwelling on what went wrong. This shift in perspective can help you approach challenges with curiosity rather than frustration. Another way to practice self-compassion is through mindful self-talk. Pay attention to the way you speak to yourself internally. Are your thoughts supportive and encouraging, or do they lean toward criticism and judgment? If you catch yourself being overly harsh, pause and ask, would I say this to someone I care about? If the answer is no, replace that thought with something more constructive and kind. The Stoics also encourage us to set realistic expectations. It's easy to fall into the trap of perfectionism, but this often leads to unnecessary stress and disappointment. Instead, focus on progress, no matter how small. Celebrate your efforts and acknowledge the steps you've taken, even if the results aren't immediate. Remember, the journey itself is where growth happens. Self-compassion also involves giving yourself permission to rest and recharge. In a world that glorifies constant productivity, it's important to recognize that rest is not laziness, it's a vital part of maintaining balance and well-being. When you feel overwhelmed, take a step back and allow yourself the space to recover. This act of self-care is a powerful way to honor your needs and build resilience. Finally, consider keeping a journal to track your progress and reflect on your experiences. Write down moments when you showed patience with yourself, as well as times when you struggled. Over time, this practice can help you identify patterns and develop a deeper understanding of how to support your own growth. By being patient with yourself, you create a foundation of self-compassion that not only nurtures your well-being but also strengthens your ability to face life's challenges with grace and resilience. As we move forward, let's carry this insight with us, remembering that true growth begins with kindness toward others and, just as importantly, toward ourselves. Now, let's turn our attention to the 48th Stoic insight, avoiding regret. The Stoics believed that dwelling on the past is not only unproductive but also a barrier to living a balanced and fulfilling life. Regret, they argued, keeps us tethered to moments we cannot change, pulling our focus away from the present, the only moment we truly have control over. At its core, Stoicism teaches us to accept the past as it is without allowing it to dictate our present or future. As Seneca wisely noted, we suffer more often in imagination than in reality. Regret often stems from overthinking what could have been rather than accepting what has already happened. The Stoics remind us that every experience, whether positive or negative, contributes to our growth and understanding. Instead of lamenting past mistakes, we can choose to see them as lessons that shape who we are today. So, how can we let go of regret and focus on the present? One powerful strategy is to practice acceptance. Acknowledge that the past is unchangeable and that holding on to regret only drains your energy. This doesn't mean ignoring your mistakes or pretending they didn't happen. Rather, it means recognizing them, learning from them, and then consciously choosing to move forward. As Epictetus put it, it's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters. Another effective approach is to reframe your perspective. Instead of viewing past actions as failures, consider them as necessary steps in your journey. Every decision you've made, even the ones you now regret, has brought you to where you are today. By reframing regret as a teacher rather than a tormentor, you can begin to release its grip on your mind. Mindfulness is another key tool in avoiding regret. By staying fully present in the here and now, you reduce the mental space available for dwelling on the past. Simple practices like deep breathing, grounding exercises, or even focusing on your immediate surroundings can help anchor you in the present moment. When you catch yourself slipping into regret, gently guide your thoughts back to what you can do right now to create a better future. The Stoics also encourage us to take responsibility without self-punishment. It's important to own your mistakes, but not to let them define you. Apologize if necessary, make amends where possible, and then commit to doing better moving forward. This balanced approach allows you to grow without being weighed down by guilt or regret. Finally, consider the practice of gratitude as a way to counteract regret. By focusing on what you're thankful for in the present, you shift your attention away from what you wish had been different in the past. Gratitude helps you appreciate the lessons learned and the progress made, fostering a sense of peace and contentment. By avoiding regret, you free yourself to live more fully in the present, embracing each moment as an opportunity for growth and joy. As we continue, let's carry this insight with us, remembering that the past is behind us, but the present is ours to shape. Now, let's shift our focus to the 49th Stoic insight, practicing integrity. Integrity, in the Stoic sense, is about aligning your actions with your values, even when it's difficult or inconvenient. It's the foundation of trust, both in yourself and in your relationships with others. The Stoics believed that living with integrity is not just a moral obligation, but a path to inner peace and self-respect. When you act in accordance with your principles, you build a sense of authenticity that no external circumstance can shake. One of the most powerful examples of integrity in Stoic philosophy comes from the life of Marcus Aurelius. As a Roman emperor, he faced immense pressure and temptation to abuse his power. Yet he consistently chose to act with fairness, humility, and justice, even when it meant making unpopular decisions. His commitment to integrity wasn't about seeking approval or avoiding criticism. It was about staying true to his core values, no matter the cost. This unwavering dedication to principle is a hallmark of Stoic virtue. So, how can we practice integrity in our own lives, especially when faced with challenges? Start by clearly defining your values. What do you stand for? What principles guide your decisions? When you have a clear sense of your moral compass, it becomes easier to act with integrity, even in difficult situations. For instance, if honesty is one of your core values, you might choose to speak truthfully in a situation where lying would be easier or more convenient. This small act of integrity reinforces your self-respect and builds trust with others. Another key aspect of practicing integrity is consistency. It's not enough to act with integrity only when it's easy or when others are watching. True integrity means making the right choice even when no one is looking, and even when it comes at a personal cost. This might mean admitting a mistake at work, standing up for someone who's being treated unfairly, or resisting the temptation to take shortcuts when no one would notice. These moments, though often challenging, are where integrity truly shines. Integrity also involves taking responsibility for your actions. When you make a mistake or fall short of your values, acknowledge it openly and take steps to make amends. This isn't about self-punishment, but about holding yourself accountable in a way that fosters growth and trust. As Epictetus reminds us, first say to yourself what you would be, and then do what you have to do. Integrity is about bridging the gap between your ideals and your actions, even when it's hard. Living with integrity also means being honest with yourself. It's easy to rationalize or justify actions that don't align with our values, but true integrity requires self-awareness and self-honesty. Regularly reflect on your choices and ask yourself if they align with the person you aspire to be. This practice of self-reflection helps you stay grounded in your principles and strengthens your resolve to act with integrity, even in the face of adversity. Finally, remember that integrity is a practice, not a destination. There will be times when you stumble or fall short, and that's okay. What matters is your commitment to getting back up and continuing to strive for alignment between your values and your actions. Each small act of integrity builds trust, self-respect, and a sense of inner harmony that no external circumstance can take away. As we move forward, let's carry this insight with us, remembering that integrity is not just about doing the right thing, it's about being the kind of person who naturally does the right thing, even when it's hard. By practicing integrity, we not only honor ourselves but also inspire those around us to do the same. Now, as we approach the final insight, let's turn our attention to one of the most profound and transformative Stoic practices, embracing your mortality. The Stoic concept of memento mori, which translates to remember that you must die, might sound stark at first, but it's far from morbid. Instead, it's a powerful reminder to live fully and intentionally, knowing that our time is limited. This practice isn't about dwelling on death, but about using the awareness of life's impermanence to prioritize what truly matters. The Stoics believed that reflecting on mortality could serve as a wake-up call, helping us shed trivial concerns and focus on what's meaningful. Marcus Aurelius often meditated on this idea, writing in his personal journal, "You could leave life right now. Let that determine what you do and say and think." This isn't a call to live in fear, but to live with purpose. When we remember that our time is finite, we're more likely to make choices that align with our values and bring us closer to the life we want to lead. So, how can we incorporate this practice into our daily lives? Start by taking a few moments each day to reflect on the impermanence of life. This doesn't have to be a lengthy or somber exercise. It can be as simple as pausing to appreciate the present moment or asking yourself, if today were my last day, would I be proud of how I've lived? This reflection can help you let go of petty grievances, procrastination, and distractions, and instead focus on what truly enriches your life. Another way to embrace memento mori is to use it as a tool for gratitude. When we recognize that life is fleeting, we're more likely to appreciate the people, experiences, and opportunities we often take for granted. Think about the loved ones in your life, the work you're passionate about, or even the simple joys of a quiet morning. Reflecting on mortality can deepen your appreciation for these gifts and inspire you to make the most of them. This practice also encourages us to take action. It's easy to put off our dreams, goals, or difficult conversations, thinking we'll have time later. But memento mori reminds us that later isn't guaranteed. Whether it's pursuing a passion, mending a relationship, or simply expressing gratitude, this insight urges us to act now rather than waiting for the perfect moment. As Seneca wisely noted, it is not that we have a short time to live, but that we waste a lot of it. Embracing mortality also helps us face challenges with greater resilience. When we accept that life is inherently uncertain and impermanent, we're less likely to be shaken by setbacks or failures. Instead, we can approach difficulties with a sense of perspective, knowing that they're temporary and part of the broader tapestry of life. This mindset allows us to navigate adversity with courage and grace rather than fear or despair. Ultimately, memento mori is an invitation to live with intention, gratitude, and courage. It's a reminder that life's brevity is what makes it precious, and that every moment is an opportunity to create meaning and connection. By embracing this Stoic insight, we can cultivate a deeper sense of purpose and balance, ensuring that we live not just longer but better. As we conclude our exploration of the 50 Stoic insights, let's carry this final lesson with us. Life is a gift, and how we choose to live it is our greatest responsibility. By reflecting on our mortality, we can find the clarity and motivation to live authentically, love deeply, and leave a legacy that reflects our truest selves. And so, we've reached the end of our journey through the 50 Stoic insights for a balanced life. Each of these principles, from focusing on what we can control to embracing our mortality, serves as a stepping stone toward a life of greater clarity, resilience, and fulfillment. Together, they form a powerful framework for navigating the complexities of modern life with wisdom and grace. Stoicism isn't just a philosophy, it's a practical guide for living. It teaches us to find strength in adversity, to cultivate gratitude in the ordinary, and to prioritize what truly matters. By integrating these insights into our daily lives, we can transform challenges into opportunities, distractions into focus, and fleeting moments into lasting meaning. But the real power of Stoicism lies in its application. It's not enough to simply understand these principles, we must live them. Start small. Choose one insight that resonates with you and practice it consistently. Whether it's reflecting on your day, practicing gratitude, or embracing discomfort, each step you take brings you closer to a more balanced and intentional life. We'd love to hear how these Stoic insights have impacted you. Which principle has made the biggest difference in your life? How have you applied these teachings to overcome challenges or find greater peace? Share your experiences in the comments below. Your story might inspire someone else on their journey. If you found this video helpful, don't forget to give it a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel for more content like this. Hit the notification bell so you never miss an update. Stoicism is a lifelong practice, and we're here to support you every step of the way. Thank you for joining us on this exploration of Stoic wisdom. Remember, the journey to a balanced life begins with a single step. Take that step today and let these timeless principles guide you toward a life of purpose, resilience, and joy.